NCAA Division III football action about to begin. Christopher Newport and Susquehanna in the second round. Captains won the flip of the coin and have deferred, and Christopher Newport is kicking off, and the opening kick fielded at the 12-yard line, and great coverage on special teams as the Captains get down the field and make the stop. And making the play is James Benedetto, who comes downfield to make the stop quickly, and the Riverhawks of Susquehanna will take over as we begin the action here. Good to have you with us today. A beautiful day for football. Sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-40s. A chilly day, but a bright blue sky and just a perfect day for football as the Riverhawks will start at their own 22-yard line. And the landmark Offensive Player of the Year, their quarterback Josh Ehrlich, ready to go to work. And from shotgun formation, Ehrlich hands it away to Rashawn Lamons. Lamons is hit by Maddox Lee of the Captains, and he is taken down at the line of scrimmage. Francis Tomasino alongside Tracy Cooper. Our outstanding engineers here, Harvey King, Jacob Holloway, bringing you the action today from Newport News, Virginia, and Town Bank Stadium. Tracy, a good start for the Christopher Newport defense on that play.
Good start for the defense. Good start for special teams in the game they played in September. Opening kickoff went for a touchdown for the Riverhawks.
Riverhawks and the Captains played 2 months and 2 days ago here, and the Captains won that game 41-27. Robbins, the tight end, in motion, and the flip goes to Lamons, and Lamons dives across the 25 and gets out to the 28-yard line. That's a pickup of 6 yards, and it's going to set up a third down situation. And about 4 yards to go for Susquehanna. Head coach Tom Perkovich, the coach of the year, the coaching staff of the year this year in the landmark, and Paul Crowley and Christopher Newport's coaching staff named the coaching staff of the year in the New Jersey Athletic Conference this year. As these two coaches have had terrific runs. Perkovich in his 11th year, Crowley only in his 4th year at CNU, and Ehrlich in trouble, got away from a defender. Ehrlich still in trouble. Now he lets it fly, a wide open receiver downfield, and heading down the field for the Riverhawks, and edged out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. A big play for Susquehanna on a 3rd down and 6 situation, and they had a man wide open downfield as the catch was made by John Kredensky, a senior wide receiver.
Wide open, Francis, probably 20 yards behind the defenders. They had Ehrlich in the backfield. A couple of Captains had hands on him and weren't able to bring him down. I think the secondary calmed down thinking the play was dead, and it was not. Ehrlich keeps it going, and now they're inside the 5.
Riverhawks first and goal as they go to Lamons. No, they don't. Ehrlich keeps it. He faked to Lamons. Ehrlich dives for the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown. And the Susquehanna Riverhawks take a 6-0 lead on the first possession of the day.
And a big Susquehanna fan base that made the trip down from Pennsylvania to Newport News, Virginia, cheering on their team. It only took them a few plays to get all the way down the field and put some points on the board early in the first quarter.
Outstanding kicker for Susquehanna, Dominic Bourgeois, will come in, the junior from Baltimore. Will try to tack on the extra point. And there's the snap. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. It's 7-0, and we are just a minute and 50 seconds into the opening quarter here at Town Bank Stadium on the campus of Christopher Newport University. And again, the big pass play, Ehrlich finding John Kredensky all alone, and Kredensky, again, a senior out of Bergenfield, New Jersey, was just clapping his hands saying, get the ball to me. And not only did Ehrlich get it to him, but then Kredensky got a lot of yards after the catch as well.
And 2 or 3 players for Christopher Newport were in the backfield. It looked like he was going to be brought down for a sack, and they just couldn't bring him down. Ehrlich proving very elusive, and then kept his eyes up to find Kredensky, who was just amazingly wide open at around the 35-yard line, and it didn't take much for him to get it inside the 5. The Captains had to track him down, but a play later, Ehrlich taking it in from a few yards out.
So it's 7-0 Susquehanna to start this one. When these teams played back in late September, the Riverhawks scored on a kickoff return to open the game. So they've done very well early against the Captains in the 2 meetings this year, and now Bourgeois will kick off, and the Captains will have the ball for the first time here this afternoon. It's fielded in the end zone. Josh Powell a couple of yards deep, and he gets hit and taken down shy of the 20-yard line. And a big stick put on Josh Powell on that run back.
Yeah, that was a big kickoff, a good 2-3 yards into the end zone, Francis. Powell might have been better served to just go for a fair catch, take a knee there, get the ball at the 25. Instead, he brings it out trying to catch the Riverhawks off guard and only gets it out to the 17-yard line.
Christopher Newport's offense coming onto the field, led by the New Jersey Athletic Conference Offensive Player of the Year. That's Connor Berry, the junior quarterback, a left-hander out of Vienna, Virginia. And Berry will work on first down over the middle. Dangerous pass, almost picked off. It's incomplete. As the Captains went to the spread that time on first down, Tracy, and with 5 players wide, the pass went over the middle and it falls incomplete.
Number 44 for Susquehanna, Luke Hughes, coming right up the middle, getting in the face of Connor Berry quickly and made him deliver that pass to Gunnar White over the middle much earlier than he wanted to.
Jesse Roosh is the top tackler for Susquehanna this year. At the line, at one of the linebacker spots, Roosh has had quite a year, and now an end around goes to Colin Hart, and Hart is tripped up and taken down right at the line of scrimmage on the end around play. A loss on the play. It's going to be third down, almost 12 yards to go for the Captains.
Didn't fool Susquehanna at all, Francis. It was a end around. It was Matt Dezerski taking the under the center snap there. Connor Berry had split out right in front of Colin Hart. Hart went in motion, got the end around, and Susquehanna drops him for a loss of about a yard to the 16. So third down and 11 on the first drive for the Captains.
Already Susquehanna with the lead, 7-0. And now Berry has a motion man, Xavier Kennedy, across the field, and the pass in the flat near side goes to Hart. He makes the catch, but he is dropped almost immediately, taken down at the 18-yard line. That's a gain of only about 3 yards. And it's going to be fourth down and 9 now for Christopher Newport. And the Captains will bring out the punt team following their first possession of the day.
I think that was number 36, senior linebacker for Susquehanna, Brennan Miller, making that tackle. And the Captains net only about a yard on their first drive after giving up a score on Susquehanna's first drive.
Max Lawton is the punter for the Captains. He's standing back at his own 3-yard line awaiting the snap. And there is the snap. And Lawton gets the punt away, gets off a pretty good punt. And it's going to bounce into Susquehanna territory to the 41, and it was touched by the Riverhawks, and the Captains say they haven't. Let's wait and see what the officials say.
I believe a player, a CNU player, blocked a Susquehanna player into the ball, but he did roll a little bit before hitting it. This will be an interesting call from the officials, but he was blocked into the football by a CNU player, but he still did touch it. It was not dead yet.
There's the call from the field. Yeah, they are saying exactly that the player was blocked into the ball. It will be Susquehanna football.
It's the right call.
That is the right call, no doubt about it. The ball's going to be at the Susquehanna 40-yard line, so the Riverhawks will have a pretty good drive start here after marching down the field thanks to a big play on the first possession as Ehrlich found his senior wide receiver John Kredensky wide open. That was the big play that led to the touchdown run of Ehrlich to start this game. And that's why the Riverhawks have a 7-0 lead right now as they take over again at the Susquehanna 40-yard line. First and 10, Ehrlich rolls right and sends the pass to the sideline, and making the grab again over there is Kredensky, and Kredensky steps out of bounds on the far sideline at the 45-yard line. It'll be a 2nd and 5 situation coming up.
Coming into the game, Kredensky not targeted that often. I believe he had only 2 catches coming into this game in 3 games. He's already got 2 catches here in the first quarter.
Again, Susquehanna playing without Carter McCauley today as Ehrlich rolls to his right, tucks it away. Ehrlich's got running room at midfield down the far sideline, and he angles out of bounds close to the Captain's 40-yard line. A nice run by the offensive Player of the Year in the Landmark this year, Josh Ehrlich, the redshirt junior out of Annapolis, Maryland, picking up a Susquehanna first down.
Big-time dual-threat quarterback. He can throw the ball, as we saw earlier, and ran the ball for a 4-yard touchdown earlier and got the first down there into CNU territory.
1st and 10 for the Riverhawks at the captain's 41. Again, a brisk day here. Temperatures in the mid-40s. No precipitation in our forecast today here in Newport News, Virginia. Handoff going to Rashawn Lamons, and Lamons is wrapped up for a loss. The captain's reacting quickly to that handoff to the sophomore back from Smyrna, Delaware. And Tracy Lamons had a terrific freshman year last year. This year, coming back from an injury, still had 10 touchdown runs, 2 touchdown catches, and he averages 85 yards a game on the ground.
Didn't play much earlier in the year. I believe the captain's game in late September was the first one he played in, and did well in that game, but had a good rest of the season.
2nd down now, and the Riverhawks keep it on the ground. Lamons running to the far side, trying to turn the corner, gets across the 40, and is ruled down at the 39-yard line. So it's going to be 3rd and long now. And Susquehanna has been terrific on 3rd down situations this year.
Yes.
That's one of their strong suits, to say the least. 82 times they've converted out of 146 opportunities. That's 56% coming into this game, and that's 4th best in the country. And their team on 3rd down, they are tough to stop. And right now the captains are trying to stop them on 3rd down and 8. Ehrlich sends Lamons in motion, and he's going to get the screen pass on the near side, and Lamons breaks away from a tackler and stays on his feet down the near sideline, and it looks like he's going to be very close to the first down. I think he's going to have it.
Yeah, I think he's got to the 30. He needed to get to the 31, and they are moving the chains. Another 3rd down conversion, and that long pass earlier to Krudensky was also a 3rd down play that got him set up inside the 5 before they scored. This one keeps the drive alive now at the Christopher Newport 30-yard line.
Terrific start for the Riverhawks of Susquehanna, leading 7-0 on the road today. 1st and 10 for the Hawks at the captain's 30-yard line. Shotgun snap. Ehrlich rolls right, lets it fly to the sideline, and Krudensky makes the catch. He's pushed out of bounds by the captain's Tahir Johnson, the strong safety, but positive yardage on the catch to the far sideline to the captain's 25-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5 coming up.
Like I said earlier, Krudensky coming into this game only had 2 catches the entire season, played in 3 games, but with McCauley out for the Riverhawks, making the most of his opportunity.
Krudensky out of Bergenfield, New Jersey, stepping up here for the Riverhawks as Ehrlich gets his team ready for 2nd down and 5. Tight end was in motion, handoff going up the middle. It's Lamons, and he is wrapped up and taken down short of the first down marker, dropped at the 22-yard line. And that's going to set up 3rd down and short for Susquehanna, 3rd and about 2 yards to go. Again, this is the 2nd all-time meeting of these two schools. The first meeting 2 months and 2 days ago. And the captains won that game here at Town Bank Stadium, 41-27. Now on 3rd and short, Ehrlich's going to the air. He's got an open man in the end zone, and the pass is caught for the touchdown. And it's Frankie Morose, who had a big touchdown reception in the first meeting against the captains. Morose with a touchdown reception, and Susquehanna takes a 13-0 lead.
Again, the captain's secondary just missed assignment. They had earlier the missed assignment on 3rd down on the first drive, and that one, again, Morose was at least 10 yards clear of any CNU secondary. The safety nowhere to be found.
Dominic Bourgeois getting ready for the extra point. There's the snap. Spot is good. Kick is up, and the kick is good. 14-0 Susquehanna with the lead over Christopher Newport. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship.
It's never just a game when your heart is on the line. You see, for a team player, their head is in the game, and their heart is too.
Priority Lexus is a proud Priority Lexus, a proud partner of Christopher. Susquehanna with an early 14-0 lead. The kickoff into the end zone for the touchback. And now Christopher Newport has work to do, trailing by 2 touchdowns here at home in the early going of this second round game. 32 teams still alive in the NCAA Division III Football Championship. And so far today, Susquehanna off to a fast start on the road with 2 early touchdowns here in the opening quarter. Now Connor Berry and the Christopher Newport offense ready to start a drive at the 25 after the touchback. Gunnar White is the motion man, and Connor Berry rolls to his left, looks back over the middle, and sends the pass to an open man. Catch is made by Colin Hart. Hart got away from a defender. He's at the 40, at the 30, down the near sideline. Colin Hart is going to be pushed out of bounds inside the 10-yard line, and the Captains are going to have a 1st and goal after a big play. Connor Berry to Colin Hart.
After only gaining 1 yard on their first drive, they go big play there as Connor Berry rolls left and finds his wide open favorite receiver, Colin Hart, coming into this game averaging 118 yards a game. Almost puts it into the end zone, but Susquehanna tracks him down. It'll be 1st and goal at the 7-yard line for the Captains.
Christopher Newport has set a school record for scoring this year. The Captains on the year averaging 46.8 points per game, 468 points scored in 10 games. Connor Berry goes to the air, and that pass incomplete. Gunnar White, the flag comes in late. Gunnar White was looking around and saying he thought there should have been a penalty marker, and it did come in from the end zone.
Yeah, he got one late. It's going to be on Berkeley Wagner, the senior defensive back who was covering Gunnar White. A little mini post pattern right at the goal line, so this will be half the distance to the end zone, and they will spot it at the 2.
Berkeley Wagner, an outstanding year for the Riverhawks at the strong safety spot with 45 tackles this year. The senior from Willow Street, Pennsylvania, will give the Captains a 1st and goal at the 2. Connor Berry has a slot to the left. That's Ethan Barham in the game, and Powell in motion. Berry keeps it himself, barrels forward, and Connor Berry is into the end zone for the touchdown, and Christopher Newport is on the board. It's now 14-6.
Connor Berry with his 10th rushing touchdown of the season and gets the Captains right back into this one, 14-6, with the Jonathan Gates extra point to come.
We've had an exciting opening quarter here, 6 minutes and 16 seconds to play. In the first quarter, the Captains down by 8, trying to knock it down to 7 as the freshman kicker Jonathan Gates is on the field. And Connor Berry is the holder as Gates gets ready for the extra point. There's the snap, the spot is good, and the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. It's a 14-7 ball game. Susquehanna with the lead. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. The Newport News Marriott. Championship parties and more. 5016. We can't wait to hear. Captains are kicking off, and the return by the Riverhawks crosses the 25 and comes out to the 28-yard line, and on the return it's Aaron Angelo, and Angelo doing a good job there to bring the ball out for the Riverhawks, and pretty good drive start now for Susquehanna.
A good high kickoff from Max Lawton and caught it above his head, did Angelo, but as you said, picked his way forward to get good field position for Susquehanna. Their third drive, they scored on the first two after a couple of big plays. This one will start at their own 28.
Yeah, the captains have punted once and scored on their second possession, and the handoff here goes to Lamons, and Lamons finds a nice seam and dives forward, crossing the 35-yard line out to the 36. That's a gain of 8 yards for Rashawn Lamons, the sophomore from Smyrna, Delaware, and he is a tough back to bring down. He's got great speed and is very elusive, and Lamons off to a great start. It's hard to believe he's only a sophomore.
Yeah, after 110 yards per game last season.
Yeah, he's had 2 great years with the Riverhawks. Robbins was in motion. The pass comes to the near side, and that's underthrown as it hits the grass, and the intended receiver was Michael Robbins, the senior tight end from Glenwood, Maryland. It's going to set up a 3rd and short situation. Again, Susquehanna so strong on 3rd down conversions this year. They take a shot there with a pass play on 2nd and 2. Now they go to 3rd and 2. We'll see what Tom Perkovich has ready here.
They are 3 for 3 already in this game.
Yeah, the Riverhawks have done so well all year on 3rd down, and they've got 2 wides to the near side. Now a motion man, and the pitch going to that motion man. The captain's staying at home, and the tackle was made at the line of scrimmage on the end-around attempt to Rob Stolfa. Stolfa, the junior from Shrewsbury, New Jersey, taken down for a little bit of a loss. It's going to be 4th down now and 3 yards to go for Susquehanna.
Look like Rover Noah Martin, as well as number 33, Charlie Clausen Jr., as well as probably 5 or 6 other blue jerseys there to stop Susquehanna, and they will get a 3-and-out, much-needed 3-and-out for Christopher Newport's defense.
Susquehanna with a 14-7 lead, and Bourgeois is the punter as well as the kicker for the Riverhawks. The junior from Baltimore gets ready for the snap. He's standing back at his own 20, and he gets the punt away quickly. And another good job by Bourgeois. Fair catch called for and made by Noah Martin of Christopher Newport at the captain's 31-yard line. So Christopher Newport's offense will be back on the field, trailing by 7. And we've talked a lot about the coaches today, Tracy, and it's a chilly day here in Newport News, but Tom Perkovich, head coach of Susquehanna, is from Buffalo, a Canisius College grad, and I'm from up that way as well. This is like the 4th of July.
This is balmy.
This is a beautiful day. That area right now has a lot of snow, by the way.
As does a lot of the Midwest.
Yeah, absolutely. 1st and 10, no snow here. Chilly day, but lots of sunshine for the captains and the Riverhawks. And Connor Berry is going to go to there. He's hit as he's thrown, and he sends it downfield. It's tipped into the air, and it's almost intercepted. Let's wait for the call.
I believe it is.
That looked like a great defensive play made by the Riverhawks, and it is. Kayvon Waters with his 4th pick of the season. Waters, the sophomore from Manassas, made a great defensive play for Susquehanna. Off the tip ball, he stretched out and was able to get his hands under it, and it's going to be Susquehanna football.
Tell you, Francis, Barham had to slow down for that one. Barry hit just as he delivers that throw deep downfield. Barham slows up for it. I thought there might have been contact right before the ball got there, but it pops off his shoulder pads and right into the arms of a Susquehanna defender for a turnover. First one of the ball game.
1st and 10 for Susquehanna at the Riverhawks line of scrimmage here, the 26-yard line. Shotgun snap, and Lamons gets the call running right. Lamons across the 30 and taken down at the 33. A good run again by the sophomore Lamons as he picks up on 1st down a good bit of yardage. He ends up getting 6 yards on that play off the right side of the line.
Lamont started this game 4 carries, only a net 6 yards. In the last 2 carries, I believe he's gotten about 15 yards.
On 2nd down and 4, the Riverhawks have 3 wide split to the near side of the field. No one on the far side. Lamons in the backfield. Ehrlich hands off to him, and Lamons this time is bottled up at the line of scrimmage. No gain on 2nd down. Now it'll be 3rd down and a long 3 for Susquehanna.
Very interesting how it seems like Susquehanna has gone very much to the run game after the pass game has been so effective Ehrlich, only one incompletion so far in this game, 6 of 7 passing for 114 yards and a touchdown.
On the year, Ehrlich completes 70% of his passes. Connor Berry and Ehrlich, again, two outstanding quarterbacks battling here today. Both of those players the offensive player of the year in their respective conferences. Now Lamons goes in motion, and Ehrlich is throwing the ball to the far side, and the pass is caught by Hunter Morgenroth, and Morgenroth is run out of bounds, but not before he picks up enough for the first down at the 40-yard line of Susquehanna. It will be 1st and 10 for the Riverhawks.
Second most catches coming into this game by the Riverhawks. Morgenroth, 30 catches, averaging 36 yards a game, and has 4 touchdowns to his name.
Susquehanna with a 14-7 lead, and Ehrlich is looking over to the sideline now. Head coach Tom Perkovich and his assistants again named the coaching staff of the year in the Landmark. Another undefeated season in the Landmark for this Riverhawks team. And the pass to the near side on the screen, and tripped up nicely. Coming up is Eddie Henderson to make the stop, as Henderson trips up Hunter Morgenroth. And that'll go for a loss on the play of about 3 yards.
And he had some blocking out in front of him. Henderson coming from a safety position, from the left side safety position, to make that tackle. Gets him by the ankles and trips up the receiver for a loss of about 3 yards to the 37, 2nd down and 13.
Eddie Henderson, a sophomore out of Beaver Dam, Virginia, making that play on defense for the Captains. And on 2nd and long, a pitch goes to Lamons. Lamons spins and is hit and dropped shy of the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd and about 11 now for Susquehanna, as the Riverhawks have again scored twice already in this game on their first 3 possessions. This is the 4th possession of the game for Susquehanna after the interception by Susquehanna on the tip play. Kayvon Waters with that interception. We'll see if the Captains can stop this drive. 3rd down and 11 for Ehrlich, as he's got 3 wides on the near side of the field, 1 on the far side. And he's going to send it deep, and that ball is over the receiver's head as Robbins went down the field, and the defenders were back for the Captains, but ball overthrown. And now on 4th and 11, the punt team comes out for the Riverhawks.
I think Noah Martin, the rover, the deep safety, got a hand on that one, Francis. I think he may have tipped that one just at the last second before it got to Robbins, knocking it off balance. And now the punt team out again for the 2nd straight drive for Susquehanna. Captain's defense does their job after turning the ball over.
Still a 14-7 game. There's the snap, and Bourgeois gets the punt away. And Noah Martin decides to try to return this one, and he's wrapped up at the 30-yard line and taken down immediately. So the Captains of Christopher Newport will have the football back. This is the 12th appearance in the NCAA tournament for Christopher Newport. The Captains are 3-11 all time. And this is, again, the first home NCAA tournament game for Christopher Newport since 2006. It's been almost 20 years since the Captains have had a home game in the tournament. Susquehanna, of course, last year going all the way to the semifinals in the NCAA tournament before falling to the eventual champion, North Central. This ball is knocked away from Connor Berry in the pocket, and Berry was able to fall on it.
Yeah, heads-up play by Connor Berry. It looked like that might have been an open hand. I believe they are going to call it a fumble and take him back a good 7 yards to the 24-yard line. His arm hit as he tried to deliver the pass, but they're saying the ball did not stay in his hand as his arm was going forward, so it is a fumble for the Captains. In consecutive plays, Connor Berry has thrown an interception and now fumbled it, but did recover it. 2nd down and 17 for the Captains.
Under a minute to go here in the opening quarter of play. Powell is in motion, and it's a handoff for the Captains going to Xavier Kennedy, and Kennedy breaks across the line of scrimmage, out across the 30 and across the 35-yard line. Nice run by Kennedy, and that's going to do it for the first quarter here at Town Bank Stadium. 14-7, Susquehanna with the lead over Christopher Newport. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. And Susquehanna in the second round of the NCAA Division III Football Championship. 14-7 is our score. Susquehanna with the lead as the second quarter begins. And the captains getting ready to go to work here on a third down situation. They need about 4 yards, and Connor Berry, the quarterback, is able to get out of the pack and move forward. He got a pretty good spot. Looks like he's got enough for the first down.
Looked like he landed on the Susquehanna tackler, and had he not done that, he would not have been able to be flung forward a good yard there. Looked like he was going to be brought down around the 40, but landing on the Susquehanna player got him to the 41-yard line. The official on the sideline, on the Susquehanna sideline, immediately calls it a first down for CNU.
Connor Berry has now run the ball 3 times for the captains today. And Connor Berry, one of his runs, a 2-yard touchdown run, the only score so far for Christopher Newport. First and 10 for the captain. Shotgun snap, and Berry is flushed from the pocket, and he lets it fly incomplete to the far sideline. And that was in the hands of Berkeley Wagner, this free safety coming up, and almost made a pick there over on the far sideline. It's going to be second down and 10. And in that first quarter, Tracy, of course, Susquehanna got off to such a great start. They went 4 plays, 78 yards on their first drive. Ehrlich with a touchdown run, and then Ehrlich with a 22-yard touchdown pass to Frankie Moroz. And that's where we are right now, 14-7 with the Riverhawks in front.
2 huge plays on those touchdown drives for Susquehanna that really burned the captain's secondary.
Second and 10 for the captains, and Berry with a rush on. Sends the pass, it's deflected and intercepted again. Second pick of the day for the Riverhawks. And on the run to the right side down the field is Berkeley Wagner, and Wagner taken down. And the Riverhawks are going to have the ball back. 2 Connor Berry interceptions. He only threw 3 all season, and already 2 here today in this second round tournament game.
Looked like that one got tipped near the line of scrimmage, popped up in the air, and Susquehanna right there being very opportunistic on defense.
Both of the picks on deflections, and this Susquehanna defense has had a great afternoon so far in the early going of this game. Just underway in the second quarter, 14-7. Riverhawks in front and looking for more.
It was number 98, Brandon Shipley, on the line, who tipped it up in the air before Berkeley Wagner got the interception.
They've got a short field in front of them as they start this drive at the 27-yard line. Shotgun snap and a handoff to Lamons. Lamons running left, and he's got a seam again. He's inside the 25 and down to the 22-yard line. Rashawn Lamons with his 8th carry of this game already, at 20 yards in the opening quarter, and attacks on about 6 more there, as Lamons has been, as expected, the go-to guy out of the backfield for Susquehanna today.
Very effective on those first down runs the last few drives.
Lamont setting up again in the backfield to the right of Ehrlich. And they send a man in motion to the near side, and the pass is behind that motion man. It falls incomplete as Daniel Growney, the freshman Came in motion. He got turned around a little bit on the near side, and the pass fell behind him incomplete.
Yeah, just a little motion and really a flat route. He really didn't change his route much from going in motion, but Ehrlich, who was finding these open receivers in the first quarter, has had some trouble. Threw one into the ground to his tight end on an earlier drive, and that one to Growney. So it'll be 3rd down and a long 5.
Lamons again to the right of Ehrlich in the backfield. 3 split to the near side, 1 to the far side, and Ehrlich gets away from trouble in the backfield. Now he cuts it back over the middle. Ehrlich still on his feet, lets it go, and the pass is caught. Falling down and making the grab is the man we saw earlier, John Kredensky, who had so much success early in that first quarter. He makes the grab for another. Susquehanna 1st down.
Well, Ehrlich hasn't run much in this game. Two rushes for 18 yards, one of them for a touchdown. That time he just used his legs for elusiveness to finally get an open receiver.
1st and goal for the Riverhawks, just inside the 10-yard line at the 9, and Ehrlich fakes the handoff to Lamons, and he's running it himself, and he gets hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage. No gain for Ehrlich on this run as the Captains' defense up front playing without Connor Estrella, their top defender on the front line. He's had 9 sacks this year and unfortunately was injured in the TCNJ game to end the season. So it's Devin Norman, Sean Sanders Jr., and Charlie Clausen starting the game up front today for the Captains in their 3-man front.
Yeah, when Christopher Newport has brought pressure, they have not been able to get to Ehrlich to bring him down behind the line of scrimmage.
2nd and goal from the 9-yard line. Susquehanna looking to add to a 7-point lead. Ehrlich has some running room, and he's going to take it into the end zone for the touchdown. His 2nd touchdown run of this game. Josh Ehrlich, a 9-yard scamper. And Susquehanna takes a 20-7 lead.
Christopher Newport brings pressure from the outside and again cannot get to Ehrlich quickly enough. They dive at his ankles, and then he finds all sorts of green into the end zone from 9 yards out.
Ehrlich with a 4-yard touchdown run, and now a 9-yard touchdown run. Dominic Bourgeois coming on now for the extra point attempt. There's the snap. Spot is good. Kick on the way, and the kick good again. And Bourgeois has had a terrific year kicking for this Susquehanna squad as he tacks on the extra point to make it 21-7. And Tracy, this Susquehanna squad off to a great start here today, and the Captains' offense already with a couple of interceptions, and the turnovers oftentimes tell the difference in any game, let alone a postseason game. And so far, the Riverhawks certainly with the advantage in that category.
Yeah, taking advantage. Their defensive line doing a good job of getting pressure on Connor Berry. They've gotten in his face a couple times, actually had him put it on the ground one time, getting a hold of his arm on a pass attempt where Connor Berry got his own fumble recovery. But at 2 interceptions, both of them tipped, one on the defensive line and one going off the Captain's tight end's shoulder pads. And they have taken advantage of those opportunities and turned it into a couple scores here. And now Susquehanna with a 21-7 lead with 11:45 remaining in the second quarter.
This game, again, one of 16 games taking place today in the NCAA Division III Football Championship. Second round. Last week there were 8 games. The 40-team field down to 32. And at the end of the day, we'll be down to 16. The kick fielded at the 5, and a little bit of a reverse play going to Eddie Henderson here. And Henderson is tripped up and taken down at the 14-yard line as Susquehanna was not fooled on that kickoff return as the stop is made. And the Captains will be backed up. This drive will start at about the CNU 14-yard line.
Susquehanna very disciplined in their kickoff team there, staying in their lanes. A lot of times you see the return man take it to one side or the other, and the players get sucked in on the kickoff team. That time they stayed right there, and Eddie Henderson on the reverse brought down on their own 15-yard line for Christopher Newport.
So the Captains down by 2 touchdowns. Gunnar White behind Connor Berry in the backfield, and White gets the call, and White runs left, and he is tackled as he crosses the line of scrimmage. Very little running room for White.
I believe that's his first carry of the game, Francis.
It is indeed, and Gunnar White again is Going to pick up only about a yard on first down for the Captains, the senior from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Again, with 50 career touchdowns for the Captains. And the Captains come to the line of scrimmage looking at a 2nd and 9 situation. CNU will flood the far side with 3 wides, and Gunnar White in motion that way as well. And now Connor Berry's going to step up, and Berry, the left-hander, heads to the sideline and has some running room, crosses the 25 and goes out of bounds at the 27-yard line, and that'll be enough for a Christopher Newport first down.
Looked like number 44, Luke Hughes, senior linebacker for Susquehanna, had him in the backfield, potentially for a sack, but he pump fakes, uses a stiff arm, gets free, and gets the Captains a little bit more room, starting this drive around their 15 out to the 27.
Christopher Newport's only score of this game came on a Connor Berry run, a 2-yard touchdown score at the 6:16 mark of the opening quarter. Susquehanna with a 21-7 lead right now. Berry gets the shotgun snap, sends the pass to Ethan Barham on the near side. Barham stretches out, has another Captain's first down, a gain of 10 on that pass play.
Yep, they are going to give him. It was right at the 37. I was curious to see where it was spotted, and it looks like they might even give him almost to the 38.
So the Captains go to Barham, who's had a great year at a tight end spot. CNU using a lot of 2 and 3 tight end formations, and Jason Viernes, the starting tight end. We've seen a lot of Ethan Barham as well as Freddie Cowell IV and Kyle Coyne at the tight end spot for Christopher Newport. 1st and 10 at the CNU 38-yard line, and Bo Sano is in the game, and Sano gets the handoff on the end around, and Sano breaks into the open. He's got another Captain's first down and into Susquehanna territory to the 48-yard line of the Riverhawks.
And it looks like at the end of that play, an injury for Susquehanna. He gets up under his own power, but Luke Hughes, number 44, on the far sideline. He limps to the sideline to get tended to.
Luke Hughes out of Reading, PA, had 50 tackles coming into this game on the season. And for the moment, he has left the game. The Captains have a 1st and 10 at the Susquehanna 48-yard line. Xavier Kennedy's in motion, the fake to Kennedy, and now they're going to flip it to him, and he can't make the catch as he goes down and the ball falls incomplete.
Again, good pressure by the Riverhawks. That time, it looks like number 93, Brian Layton, coming up the middle. I believe it was also Jesse Roosh coming up there as well, both in the face of Connor Berry, making him throw that pass a little sooner than he wanted to. Kennedy got out in front of him trying to get upfield, slipping on this field, which is in very good condition, a grass field here at Town Bank Stadium.
2nd down and 10 for the Captains. In motion out of the backfield, Xavier Kennedy. And the shotgun snap, and Berry's going to send it to the far sideline, and the pass is caught by Gunnar White.
No, they're going to say he was out of bounds. He made the catch and did not get a foot in bounds.
Gunnar White out of bounds on the far sideline, as the officials do say incomplete. So it'll come back. It'll be a 3rd down and 10 situation for Christopher Newport.
Good back shoulder pass from Connor Berry to Gunnar White, but White just too close to the Susquehanna sideline to keep a foot in. And the Captains face now a 3rd down and long, 3rd and 10, with a little more than 8:45 remaining.
Captains come to the line of scrimmage. Connor Berry by himself in the backfield. Gunnar White was in motion. Berry rolls to his left and flips the pass. And White this time makes the catch inbounds. And he's pushed out just inside the 40-yard line. It's going to be about a yard shy of the 1st down marker.
I think the Captains go for it here, Francis. 4th down and 1 on the year. Christopher Newport, 58% on 4th down. They're actually going to spot it back at the 40, so it'll be 4th and 2. Captains need to get to the 38-yard line.
Captains on 4th down situations this year, 11 of 19, as you said, Tracy. And Dezerski was over center. Now he goes in motion. Dezerski to the far side. Captains trying to draw him off, and there's no movement, and the Captains are going to take a timeout. So we've got a timeout on the field, and Susquehanna has the 21-7 lead, and we're going to keep an eye on the scoreboard today in the NCAA Division III Football Championship. The winner of this game is going to play the winner of the Franklin and Marshall Eastern game next Saturday. And Tracy, that game is underway. Most games are underway early today at 12 noon.
Yep, and that game between Eastern and Franklin and Marshall at Franklin and Marshall in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Eastern leading 14-7 with 10.5 minutes remaining in the second quarter of that one. In the another part of the bracket, Salisbury hosting Endicott, and they are leading Endicott 13-0 are the Seagulls. The Seagulls versus the Gulls in that one. 13-0 lead for Salisbury with 12:36 remaining in the second quarter of that one. And you also have Springfield at Johns Hopkins, and with 8:07 remaining in the first half, Johns Hopkins with a 13-7 lead.
Here again, it's 21-7, Susquehanna leading Christopher Newport on a chilly and sunny day here at Town Bank Stadium in Newport News, Virginia. The captains, after taking the timeout, looking at a 4th down and 2 as they're going to go for it. Connor Berry gets the snap, and it's a pitch on the end around to Josh Powell, and Powell's going to have the first down. Josh Powell still on his feet on the near sideline. He's edged out of bounds down close to the 20-yard line of Susquehanna. The captain's going a little deeper in the playbook there as they go to Powell, the sophomore from Norfolk, Virginia, making the big play on a 4th down situation.
Offensive coordinator Craig Smith going deep in the playbook, as you said, Francis, with a little razzle-dazzle on 4th down to keep this drive going. Powell is able to take the ball up out of bounds to the Susquehanna 22-yard line, 1st and 10, Christopher Newport.
Captains have Xavier Kennedy in the backfield. And now Ethan Barham goes in motion as Barry is over center. There's the snap, and Barry fakes the handoff, spins around, sends the pass near side, incomplete, as that went off the hands of the intended receiver, Jason Viernes. It falls incomplete. The captains are without apparently Dre Tharrington, a freshman running back, and he was questionable for this game. He is dressed for the game, but they've gone to their 3rd string back as well. Here's Xavier Kennedy in the backfield. So we've seen Gunnar White and Kennedy, have not seen Tharrington, who had a pretty good game against Susquehanna when these teams played back on September the 27th here at Town Bank Stadium. 2nd down and 10 as Kennedy's in the backfield, and on the end around, the handoff goes to Powell, and Powell running to the near side is edged out of bounds. And the captain's doing more and more of that, Tracy, in this game, more of the end arounds and pitch plays. We haven't seen that a whole lot this year from Christopher Newport.
Yeah, you've got 2 receivers right now leading the captains in rushing, with Powell now with 2 carries over 20 yards, and Bo Sanau has 14 yards on one end around play as well. Xavier Kennedy, the only back with double digits for the captains in this first half.
3rd down and 5, 6:40 to go here in the first half. Susquehanna leading 21-7. And Connor Berry gets the shotgun snap and surveys the field. Now he rolls right. Pressure is on. Connor Berry eluding the defense, and he's hit, and he's dropped in the backfield. Connor Berry paying the price as Galen Leemantour comes up. Leemantour with 9 sacks this year. You can make it 10 as he comes up big on that play for the Riverhawks.
And Connor Berry thought he saw something, thought he could get away, and he was wrong, Francis. Susquehanna tracks him down for their 2nd sack of the game, and this one loses 17 yards for Christopher Newport. It'll be 4th down and a mile, and that takes him out of field goal range on 4th down. Looks like the offense is going to stay out there on 4th and 27.
Leemantour came into this game with 45 tackles and again 9 sacks, and now a timeout taken before the captains go for it. And it's again a CNU timeout, 2nd timeout taken by the captains here in the first half. It's 21-7, Susquehanna with the lead. And the captains, again, Connor Berry trying to do more than he probably should have tried to do there, Tracy. And Galen Leemantour made him pay the price. Leemantour, an outstanding defensive player for this Susquehanna team, as I said, with 9 sacks and 45 tackles coming into this game.
Yeah, Leemantour, the defensive player of the year in the Landmark Conference, a fantastic player. And, yeah, as you said, if Barry throws that one away, it was actually 3rd and 5, so it's going to be a 4th down and 22, not 27, coming up for Christopher Newport as they talk it over here to see if they're going to kick this or go for it. But, yeah, Barry, if he throws that one away, it's likely a field goal attempt or certainly a 4th down and manageable attempt here for the Captains, and it looks like it will be the offense staying out on the field. If they tried the field goal attempt, the ball spotted at the 34, you're looking at a 51-yard field goal attempt. So I think they're kind of in no man's land here, a little bit too far for Jonathan Gates and too close for a Max Lawton punt.
So on 4th down and long, the Captains, after the timeout, are ready to go to work here as Connor Berry has Ethan Barham in motion, and Berry drops to throw after taking that big sack. He's in trouble again, and he's hit by Leemantor again and taken down in the backfield. Back-to-back plays, Galen Leemantor, the junior from Durham, Pennsylvania, coming up big, and the Riverhawks have the ball back.
Good coverage downfield by the Riverhawks secondary. Nowhere to go for Connor Berry. You think even if he takes a shot downfield and gets it intercepted, it's a better place for it to be intercepted, even if it's in the end zone, than giving the ball up at the 38. But that's where Susquehanna will take over with 5:34 remaining here in the first half. Susquehanna with a big 21-7 lead, looking to add to it before halftime.
And the Riverhawks offense again will start at the 38 as Ehrlich is ready for the first down play, and now in motion at the line of scrimmage. And
I think it's going to be Jerry Cashwell jumping into the neutral zone, Francis, but something like that, you usually give the offense a free play. They do not. They do say he made contact with the line. It's going to be offside on the defense.
Jerry Cashwell, the second, the middleman, the nose guard on the line, the junior from Lynchburg. And the ball will be moved forward on the 5-yard mark-off as they put it down at the 43-yard line. So it'll be a 1st and 5 situation for the Riverhawks. Susquehanna with a 14-point edge in this game. Ehrlich looking over to the sideline. Now he's ready to run the offense. 2 split to the near side, 1 to the far side. And there's the shotgun snap, and Lamons gets the handoff. Lamons running left, and he is going to be taken down. I don't think he got back to the line of scrimmage. Lamons for a little bit of a loss on the play. It's going to be 2nd down. Still about 5 yards to go for the Riverhawks.
Yeah, I thought they were going to give him more of a loss like that, maybe a yard or 2, but they say he got back to that line of scrimmage, so it will be 2nd down and 5 for the Riverhawks. Clock keeps running, 5:08 remaining in the first half.
Great crowd on hand today here at Town Bank Stadium. Great turnout from Susquehanna as well as the home fans. This pass to the near side, underthrown, incomplete, as the pass was intended for John Kredensky, the senior from Bergenfield, New Jersey. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 5 situation now for the Riverhawks.
Another short throw by Ehrlich. He started off very hot, 6 for 6 in this game, but is now only 4 of 8 in his last 8 pass attempts, but still very good on 3rd down is this Susquehanna team. They are 5 of 7 here in the first half.
3rd down, a little more than 5 yards to go for the Riverhawks. No one home on the far side of the field. 3 wide outs on the near side. There's the shotgun snap, and rolling to his right. Ehrlich stretching it out, sends the pass to the near sideline right in front of the Christopher Newport bench, and it's incomplete. As the ball may have been caught. It was caught, but it was out of bounds on the near sideline as Kredensky couldn't get a foot in bounds. And now it's 4th down and almost 6 yards to go, and we'll see what the Riverhawks elect to do.
And it looks like the offense is staying out there for right now, Francis.
It sure does look like it.
Maybe trying to draw the Captains offside. They've already done it once.
11 of 17 on 4th down plays this year. Now they're going to bring out the punt team.
10 seconds on the play clock.
Punt team scrambling to get on the field. Bourgeois ready now. There's the snap, and they didn't get it off.
They called a timeout. Well, actually, there's a flag behind the line of scrimmage, but I thought they got the snap off before it got to 0. Let's see. No.
That's a delay of game penalty against Susquehanna, 5-yard mark-off.
And look at Perkovich. He is upset with the officials. I think the problem is they were giving the captains time to substitute themselves, and they still hadn't moved away. Susquehanna had snapped the ball, but before the clock had expired, but they weren't supposed to snap it. The official's still near the football.
So it's 4th down and 10 now. Not really a big deal. Bourgeois backed up to his 23-yard line. Punting from a little deeper as he gets ready. There's the snap, and the punt is away. A line drive punt. And it takes a Susquehanna bounce. Now it kind of rolls sideways inside the 30-yard line. Captains fall on it at the 28. It will be Captains football. They're going to spot it at about the 29-yard line of Christopher Newport. So 21-7 our score. Susquehanna with the lead here as we get into the latter stages of the opening half. 4:36 to go in the second quarter. Tracy, the Captains down by 2 touchdowns with a big drive opportunity here before halftime. And let's not forget the Captains to start this game. They deferred, and so they will get the ball to start the second half.
So looking for a 2-for-1 here, trying to score, get at least 3 points on the board, cut into this 14-point lead, and then get the ball to open the second half.
1st and 10 at the Captains' 29-yard line. Over center, Connor Berry hands off to Gunnar White, the senior from Virginia Beach, running left, and he piles his way forward across the 35 and out to the 36-yard line. That's a gain of 7 yards for Gunnar White on 1st down.
Turnovers have really hurt the Captains in this first half. 2 interceptions by Connor Berry, who only had 3 coming into the game, and then also a turnover on downs. Also, Susquehanna getting to Berry for 3 sacks here in the first half.
Susquehanna led in the first meeting with Christopher Newport, 21-10 in the first half. And here they lead 21-7. Of course, that first game, the Captains ended up winning 41-27. Screen pass, Colin Hart makes the catch, and he is spun out of bounds, but looks like he's going to have close to the 1st down yardage. We'll see.
I think he's just going to be a half yard short, Francis, at about the 38.5.
They're going to put it down shy of the marker, so it's going to be 3rd and short for the Captains. Captains bringing Xavier Kennedy back into the game. They've got 2 tight ends in the game in Barham and Viernes. As CNU is huddled up, trailing by 2 touchdowns. Powell and Hart will split to the near side. Barham will go over to the far side of the field. Kennedy in the backfield with Connor Berry now.
The Captains have to burn a timeout.
That's it. I think that's their 3rd and final timeout here in the first half. So a timeout on the field here, 21-7, Susquehanna with the lead. And again, the winner of this game will play next Saturday against the winner of the Eastern Franklin and Marshall game that's going on right now. And obviously keeping an eye on that game as well, Tracy, on the scoreboard this afternoon.
Yeah, Eastern now with a 21-7 lead over the host team, Franklin and Marshall. 3:45 left in the first half of that one. Salisbury still leading Endicott 13-7 with 5:50 left in the first half of that contest. And in Baltimore, Johns Hopkins with a 20-7 lead over Springfield with 3:29 remaining in the first half.
Yeah, here today, Susquehanna got the scoring started. They jumped out to a 14-0 lead, the Riverhawks did. Josh Ehrlich with a 4-yard touchdown run with just a minute and 50 seconds gone by in the first quarter. It was 7-0 at that point. Then Frankie Moroz caught a 22-yard touchdown pass from Josh Ehrlich to make it 14-0 at the 7:13 mark. The Captains got on the board at the 6:16 mark of the first quarter. Connor Berry with a 2-yard touchdown run. And the only scoring here in the second quarter, Ehrlich with a 9-yard touchdown run to make it 21-7. That's where we stand right now. And after the timeout, 3rd down and short for the Captains. As Berry gets the shotgun snap, fakes the handoff, rolls to his right. He's in trouble again. And Connor Berry is going to be dragged down again with another sack, as the Riverhawks have been all over him here in this first half. And this time, looks like it's Tim Ferson who came up and made that big stop.
They have really rattled Connor Berry in this first half, Francis. He had Ethan Barham open but he tried to use his athletic ability to avoid getting sacked and wasn't able to do so. 4 sacks on Connor Berry in this first half, and only 5 of 12 with 2 interceptions in the first half. Not a great game for Connor Berry.
Well, the captains are punting as Max Lawton is in the game, and he delivers the punt. And it takes a Christopher Newport bounce and rolls down inside the 30-yard line of Susquehanna, where the captains down it. So the Riverhawks have a 2-touchdown advantage, 21-7, and we've got 2 minutes and 17 seconds to play here in the opening half at Town Bank Stadium in Newport News, Virginia. Beautiful day for football, sunny skies, temperatures in the mid-40s. Good to have you with us today. Francis Tomasino alongside Tracy Cooper, and our outstanding crew here is Harvey King and Jacob Holloway help bring you the action today in this NCAA Division III Football Championship. The captains and the Riverhawks meeting for the second time all time and the second time this year. Captains won the first meeting again earlier this year, 41-27, and the Riverhawks a little misdirection handoff here on first down. Lamons running to the far side. Lamons trying to turn the corner, and he goes out of bounds as he crosses the 35-yard line and is out to the 36. Rashawn Lamons with the gain for the Riverhawks. That's going to be a pickup of almost 7 yards, and now we've got the 2-minute timeout coming up here at Town Bank Stadium. So we've got 2 minutes to go. We'll take a break as the captains trail Susquehanna 21-7. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship.
Focuses on helping you stay. Just 757-282-8317.
Matt Sertz gets the call for Susquehanna, the junior from Robbinsville, New Jersey, moving forward with his first carry of the game, and he's got a first down for the Riverhawks. Matt Sertz getting the call after the 2-minute timeout, and it's 1st and 10 for the Riverhawks at the Susquehanna 43-yard line.
Susquehanna right now with a couple run plays. Running clock, they do have their full 3 timeouts remaining.
1st and 10 for the Riverhawks. Shotgun snap as Ehrlich lets this one fly to the near side, and that was a great grab made by the freshman Daniel Growney. Growney somehow made that catch to the near side, and he's going to be down at the captain's 40-yard line.
That was perfect with those sticky gloves there on the near sideline. That ball thrown to the sideline. Growney, the rookie of the year in the landmark, making a great grab at the CNU 40.
1st and 10, final 2 minutes here of the opening half, and Ehrlich again looking to the near side. This time threw it a little bit behind Growney, incomplete, as Noah Martin was there on coverage.
Tell you, if he let him though, Ehrlich, if he leads him, Noah Martin had a bead on Growney, might have had a chance at an interception there. So maybe a good throwaway there from Ehrlich on first down. That stops the clock with 1:20 left in the first half.
Susquehanna with a 2-touchdown lead, 21-7. Riverhawks trying to add to that lead before halftime. 2nd down and 10 from the captain's 40-yard line. 3 wide far side, 1 split to the near side. Shotgun snap. And stepping up in the pocket and into the clutches of the captain's defense. The tackle made as Ehrlich is taken down got a little bit of yardage on the play, maybe a yard, but it's going to set up 3rd down and long now for Susquehanna.
Keith Cherry and number 93, Jalen Britt, getting their hands on Ehrlich for the first time this game. He's still able to get it across the line of scrimmage, so technically not a sack for the Captains defense, but it will be 3rd down and 9.
Again, the Captains playing without Connor Estrella, one of their top defensive linemen. Jalen Britt getting playing time, Jordan Stith as well.
They're going to let this go all the way down, the play clock go down before they call one of their timeouts, and they do.
Timeout taken by Susquehanna. Again, the Riverhawks have a 2-touchdown lead. We've got 33 seconds left now here in the first half. Coming up at halftime, we're going to recap the scoring and also look at the stats and the scoreboard in the NCAA Division III Football Championship today. Again, 16 games going on today, 32 teams remaining in the 40-team tournament. Last week, 8 teams were knocked out in the first round. Here today, we've got 16 second-round games. And again, the winner of this game will play next Saturday against the winner of the Eastern, Franklin, and Marshall game. And we'll have, again, a look at the scoreboard coming up at halftime today. Christopher Newport and Susquehanna battling today on just a beautiful day here for football. Temperatures on the chilly side in the mid-40s, but lots of sunshine and dry weather for this battle. The first game, of course, was a much different story back on September 27th when these teams were playing in the rain here at Town Bank Stadium. Captains trailed in that game 21-10. They're trailing right now 21-7. Susquehanna looking at a 3rd and 9 after the timeout. And the pass from Ehrlich completed and now dropped at the 30-yard line. Looked like Growney was going to be able to make that catch, but it was knocked away, incomplete.
Yasir Jeter from behind there, first team all NJAC this season, got his hand in there and poked that one away from Growney, and it looks like Susquehanna's going to go for it here on 4th and 9.
Ehrlich getting ready in shotgun, now looks over to the sideline. Of course, that incomplete pass stopped the clock with 26 seconds remaining. So it's a 4th down and 9 situation for the Riverhawks.
Pooch punt.
Yeah, it is a pooch punt. And Ehrlich delivers the pooch punt, and it's fielded by the Captains at the 21-yard line. Yasir Jeter falling on that one at the 21. So Captains don't have much time to work with here. And we'll see what head coach Paul Crowley elects to do in the final minute of this first half.
Yeah, he's done that a few times this season, Josh Ehrlich. That one just kind of goes off the side of this foot. It probably wanted it to be a little bit better, but they didn't need much. It'll be interesting to see if the Captains get at all adventurous after having a couple turnovers here in the first half.
Connor Berry on the field, the junior from Vienna, Virginia. He's got Xavier Kennedy in motion coming to the near side, and Berry is going to step up, and he got his arm hit as he let it go, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, Berry is just, his clock is just not set quite right. He thinks he's got more time than he does, and he has paid the price in this first half.
Great pursuit by this Susquehanna defensive front. We've called the names a lot today. Tim Ferson, as well as, of course, Galen Leemantour and Jesse Roosh. Defense has had a great first half here for the Riverhawks as they've put a lot of pressure on Connor Berry and certainly limited him to what he's been able to put together so far. And of course, those 2 interceptions, a big part of this game in the opening half. And now Berry's going to send the pass to the near sideline, and that's out of bounds, incomplete.
Almost a Hail Mary there. He just took the snap and threw that one up for Bo Sanow and was out of bounds. Even if Sanow was able to grab that one, I don't think he would have been able to keep it in bounds. Now 3rd down, still 9 seconds left on the second quarter clock.
21-7 our score as Susquehanna has the 2-touchdown lead as we approach halftime here at Town Bank Stadium. Connor Berry has Back to his right, that's Kennedy, and now Josh Powell is in motion. Kennedy gets the handoff. A run play here coming to the near side, 30 and up to the 35-yard line, and out of bounds goes Xavier Kennedy.
Does stop the clock with 2 seconds remaining.
It will be a first down for the Captains with 2 seconds left. And we'll see if the Captains, what they elect to do here on the final play of the first half, barring a penalty. They're going to spot the ball at the 32-yard line of Christopher Newport.
They're asking for 3 seconds to be, so it should be 3, not 2 on the game clock, and there it is.
Now the clock reset.
And Susquehanna would like to call a timeout.
So Tom Perkovich wants to talk this over before the Captains run the final play again of the first half, pending, of course, no penalties on that play. And now the teams huddle up again, a 21-7 ball game here. These teams have had such amazing seasons as, again, Susquehanna came in with a 7-game winning streak to this game as they ran the table again in the landmark, going 6-0 in conference play. Last week started the NCAA tournament with a 38-32 win at home over Washington and Jefferson. And the Captains going 10-0 this year, first time ever in 25 years of CNU football. The Captains with a perfect season. They had a bye last week, and they're playing here at home in the NCAA football championship at home for the first time since 2006. This is only the 4th all-time home playoff game in CNU history. Now after the timeout, we'll see how the first half comes to an end. Connor Berry has Xavier Kennedy in the backfield with him. He's going to have 2 split to the near side and 1 over on the far side of the field. Berry fakes the handoff, and he's just going to send this one out of bounds, and that'll be it for the first half. And the Captains and the Riverhawks will head to the locker rooms here at Town Bank Stadium. The score at halftime, it's Susquehanna 21 and Christopher Newport 7. And Tracy, entertaining first half here, and first half that saw Susquehanna get off to a great start, and their defense has really risen to the occasion today, and they've done a great job limiting the Captains at the offensive, as far as the offense goes for CNU. They have not been able to do much today.
They have not indeed, and it has been the defensive line who has made the difference, not only getting to Connor Berry for the sacks that they've gotten on him, but also a tipped ball led to an interception. They also created a fumble that Connor Berry was able to recover himself, but just wreaking havoc in the backfield. And also not allowing the Captains really to run the ball much. The best run plays that they've had have been end arounds or reverses to wide receivers. The leading running back for CNU is Xavier Kennedy, and he got about 12 of those yards on that last run before the half there. So he's got 2 carries for 25 yards. Outside of that, you've got Josh Powell and Bo Sanau with 23 and 14 yards rushing respectively. Captains not able to do it on the ground, and they're not giving Connor Berry any time to pass the ball either. The offensive line in a bit of disarray here. Susquehanna doing a fantastic job on defense, and you have to give it up to the Captains' defense as well. After those first 2 drives with the broken coverage, they've also only allowed 7 points after those first 2 scores by Susquehanna to at least keep them within arm's distance, and the Captains will get the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter, and will certainly need to put some points on the board to cut into that lead.
Again, our score at halftime, it's 21-7. Susquehanna with the lead over Christopher Newport. And this is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. And again, our score at halftime, Susquehanna has the lead over Christopher Newport, 21-7. And let's recap the scoring in the first half. As Susquehanna got the ball first, the Captains won the opening flip of the coin and deferred to the second half, and Susquehanna didn't waste any time. They went 4 plays, 78 yards, and the big play on that first drive was a 68-yard reception as Josh Ehrlich found John Krudensky all alone, and that 68-yard gain put the Riverhawks at the 4-yard line, and Susquehanna went in on a touchdown run to start the game. Riverhawks first and goal as they go to Lamont. No, they don't. Ehrlich keeps it. He faked to Lamont. Ehrlich dives for the goal line, and he's in for the touchdown. And the Susquehanna Riverhawks take a 6-0 lead on the first possession of the day. Again, a 4-play, 78-yard drive. It was 7-0 with just a minute and 50 seconds gone by in the opening quarter. Susquehanna didn't wait long as they scored again, put together a nice drive a bit later in that first quarter. They went 8 plays, 60 yards, and Ehrlich this time went to the air for the second score of the day for the Riverhawks. Now on 3rd and short, Ehrlich's going to the air. He's got an open man in the end zone, and the pass is caught for the touchdown. And it's Frankie Morose, who had a big touchdown reception in the first meeting against the Captains. Morose with a touchdown reception, and Susquehanna takes a 13-0 lead. Dominic Bourgeois tacked on the extra points on those first 2 scores. It was 14-0 Susquehanna, and that was just midway through the opening quarter. The Captains got on the board about a minute later as Christopher Newport put together a very quick drive, a 2-play, 75-yard drive, and they also had a 68-yard pass play on that drive. Colin Hart with a 68-yard reception for Connor Berry to put the Captains deep in Riverhawks territory, and the Captains' junior quarterback took it in for CNU's first score of the day. Powell in motion. Berry keeps it himself, barrels forward, and Connor Berry is into the end zone for the touchdown, and Christopher Newport is on the board. It's now 14-6. Jonathan Gates added the extra point. It made it 14-7. That was our score at the end of the opening quarter today, and in the second quarter we had just 1 score, and that came after an interception set up Susquehanna in great field position, one of 2 picks by the Riverhawks in the first half as they started the drive at the 27-yard line of CNU. They went 5 plays, 27 yards, and for the second time in the game, it was Josh Ehrlich taking off on a touchdown run for the Riverhawks. Susquehanna looking to add to a 7-point lead. Ehrlich has some running room, and he's going to take it into the end zone for the touchdown. His second touchdown run of this game. Josh Ehrlich, a 9-yard scamper. And Susquehanna takes a 20-7 lead. Extra point by Bourgeois made it 21-7, and that's where we are right now. We had no scoring the rest of the way. The final 11 minutes and 45 seconds. Tracy, the defense is really clamped down, and we saw the Susquehanna defense do a tremendous job. Galen Liebentour had a terrific first half. He had 5 tackles, 2 sacks, and again 2 picks by the Susquehanna defense on tip balls, and that's really the difference in this game.
It really is, Francis. The Captains on their first drive of the game only netted 1 yard and punted away. After that, they were able to score to cut into the 14-point lead, making it 14-7. But after that, the Captains go interception, interception, turnover on downs before they punted it away on another drive and then ended the half with the football. Connor Berry just throwing it out of bounds. The Captains only were working with 20 seconds and a full field in front of them. But the middle of that first half just owned by Susquehanna's defense, creating all sorts of havoc in the backfield, getting to Connor Berry for 4 sacks, getting 2 interceptions, and really keeping the Captains' offense at bay. The offense is really stalled for Christopher Newport, mainly because Susquehanna has gotten so aggressive and the Captains have not had an answer for it.
Both teams with 8 first downs in the first half. Total yards, Captains have been outgained by the Riverhawks 218 to 141. And on the ground, Susquehanna has given up just 50 yards to the Captains. Captains have allowed 67 yards on the ground to Susquehanna today. Passing yardage, Susquehanna with the advantage, 151-91. Josh Ehrlich is 11 of 18 throwing the football, while Connor Berry is only 5 of 15. And that's something we have not seen all year. Connor Berry, 5 of 15 with 2 picks and no touchdowns, and he's been sacked 4 times in all today. And so the defense of Susquehanna really deserving of praise for the way they've gotten to the quarterback. Top receivers in the game, John Krudensky has 4 catches for 91 yards for the Riverhawks, and Colin Hart has 3 catches and 72 yards for the Captains. In the rushing column, Rashawn Lamons, 10 carries, 33 yards. As he leads the Riverhawks, Xavier Kennedy has 2 carries for 25 yards for the Captains. But the defense rising to the occasion today as Leemantor has 5 tackles, Ben Fleming with 4 to lead Susquehanna. Jackson Ambrose, the freshman, with 5 tackles in the first half for the Captains. And Noah Martin, Maddox Lee, and Yasir Jeter with 4 tackles apiece for Christopher Newport as we recap the stats. But Tracy, not a lot of penalties called in the first half, only a total of accepted penalties, 3 in all, 2 against Susquehanna for 10 yards, 1 for 5 against the Captain. So it's been a very clean first half. Susquehanna with a little bit of an edge in possession time, 16-20 to 13-40. And then you look at third downs again. Susquehanna has done such a great job all year on third down conversions. They're 3rd in the country as they convert 56% of the time, and they're 4th in the country in total first downs. Well, today on third down conversions, the Riverhawks 5 of 9, and Captains are 2 of 6 so far.
Yeah, 5 of 9, but they started 3 of 3, so their last 6 third downs, they are only 2 of 6. So the Captains did certainly shore that up defensively in the first half, and they'll need to continue that to keep Susquehanna within reach. This first drive for CNU is going to be very telling to see what kind of adjustments they will be able to make to really just see what they can do against this very aggressive Susquehanna defense getting into the backfield. The offensive line, some missed assignments on the line, allowing players free to get in the face of Connor Berry. And also Connor Berry, he just has to have maybe a little bit better of a clock in his head to get rid of that football. A few of those sacks, at least 2 of them, were because he was trying to maybe do a little bit too much and just needs to get rid of the football.
Well, again, our score in halftime, it's 21-7. Susquehanna leading Christopher Newport. And as we always do at halftime, let's run down the scoreboard as well here today in the NCAA Division III Football Championship. This game, one of 16 games being played today. And, of course, the winner of this game will play the winner of the Franklin and Marshall Eastern game next Saturday. And, Tracy, that's been a pretty good ball game through the first half as well.
It has indeed, Francis, and that one I believe is at the half. With Eastern leading that one on the road at Franklin and Marshall 21-14. So Eastern 21, Franklin and Marshall 14. The winner of that game plays the winner of this game. In Salisbury, Maryland, the Seagulls of Salisbury lead the Gulls of Endicott 20-7. That one also at the half. And in Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, that game very close to halftime, about a minute remaining in that one. Johns Hopkins holding on to a 13-point lead, 20-7 over Springfield.
All right, here at Town Bank Stadium on the campus of Christopher Newport University, it is a 21-7 game as the Riverhawks of Susquehanna have the lead. Last year, Susquehanna advanced to the national semifinals, losing to North Central, the eventual champion. And if you look back in history, in Susquehanna history, really their year that stands out, 1991, Tracy, they played for the national championship that year and ended up losing in the championship game. They ended up 11-2 that year. Of course, the championship game is named the Amos Alonzo Stagg Bowl, and of course Amos Alonzo Stagg and his son Amos co-coached at Susquehanna from 1947 to 1952. And the Riverhawks to this day play at Stagg Field at Doug Arthur Stadium in Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. And that is where these two teams are going to play next year. This series will continue. So after playing twice this year, these teams are set to play next year in Selinsgrove for the first time at Stagg Field. And that name, of course, associated with, of course, Division III college football. The Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl will be played in January at Canton, Ohio, at the Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, and both of these teams hope to be there. And right now, Susquehanna, with already an NCAA win last week and a 2-touchdown lead here at halftime. Both of these teams, of course, hoping to get to that national championship game. It's quite a tournament, though, isn't it? There's a lot of great teams and just great football, and I'm anxious to see how the second half goes and what kind of adjustments the captains make. And the Susquehanna team had a 21-10 lead that got away the first time. I know Tom Perkovich is in there talking to his team and letting them be well aware of that. Nothing's decided in the first half.
Well, as you mentioned before, Francis, this game was 21-10 Susquehanna midway through actually toward the end of the second quarter in late September here at Town Bank Stadium. And the captains got a quick offensive score, then got a fumble on a kickoff return by Susquehanna to set them up for I believe a 2-play drive that got them into the end zone just before the end of the half. And that was a big turnaround. And even last week with Susquehanna trailing Washington and Jefferson, it looked like Washington and Jefferson was going to make it a 6-point lead, attempting a field goal in the final seconds of the second quarter. They block the field goal and run it in for a score. So a 10-point flip of events there at the end of the second quarter of that one. This game is far from over. I'm sure both coaches are preaching that to their teams. We can see both teams that look like Susquehanna just out in front of Christopher Newport. They are heading to the fields right now to start this second half, but it should be a very, very entertaining second half. That first half was something else, and Susquehanna got the better of them, of the captains in the first half.
Well, the teams are coming back onto the field here at Town Bank Stadium, so we'll take a little break and come back and get the second half underway. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. Second half about to get underway here at Town Bank Stadium on the campus of Christopher Newport University. Teams back on the field now, and again, as we get ready for the second half, a reminder that The winner of this game will play next Saturday against the winner of the Eastern, Franklin, and Marshall game. And right now that's a one-score game, a 7-point game at halftime, as Eastern has the lead over Franklin and Marshall. Here it's Susquehanna with the lead, as they've got a 2-touchdown lead over the Captains, 21-7.
They do, Francis, but the Captains did win the coin flip. They deferred, so they will get the opening kickoff here of the third quarter. A touchdown drive here could make it a one-score game and just change the complexion of this game right away with the entire half to go.
Now here comes the kick team for Susquehanna coming onto the field. And again, they're very talented. Junior kicker Dominic Bourgeois out of Baltimore, Maryland.
What a year he has had, Francis. 17 of 17 on field goals and 58 of 59 on extra points. Fun fact, the only extra point he missed all year was right here at Town Bank Stadium in late September.
And that was a very wet day.
Yes, it was.
Let's remember that. It was not an easy day for
anybody to do anything.
That's true, including broadcast, as I recall.
It was rough.
It was a tough day. The teams are ready to go here as Bourgeois will kick off, and we will get the second half underway. Susquehanna leading 21-7 over Christopher Newport. Here's the run-up by Bourgeois. And the kick is in the air. It's going to be fielded at the 10-yard line by Josh Powell. And Powell is up to the 20 and over the middle, crosses the 25, tripped up there, falls ahead to about the 28-yard line. The Captains will begin the second half at about their own 28-yard line, as, again, they're down by 2 scores. And this prolific Captains offense, They're scoring 47 points per game almost, 46.8 to be exact, held to just 7 in the first half.
Yeah, and their offense is total offense around 466 yards a game and only 141 yards in the first half.
Officially at the 29-yard line, Gunnar White coming into the backfield, and White gets the handoff, running to the far side, gets away from a tackler, crosses the 30 and dives forward to the 34-yard line. Gain of 5 for number 5, Gunnar White, as the Captains will look at 2nd down and 5.
Good start for Gunnar White. Didn't really see much action in the first half running the football. That's only his 3rd carry of the game, and they'll give him 5 on that one. 2nd down and 5 for Christopher Newport to start the third quarter.
Gunnar White and Xavier Kennedy have split time in the backfield so far today for the Captains. We have not seen the freshman Dre Tharrington at all yet. Tharrington coming back from an injury, and Connor Berry rolls out, flips the pass incomplete off the hand of Gunnar White, and contact made with Gunnar White.
Yeah, Christopher Newport sideline, not happy with that extra. The play had been blown dead long ago, and number 53, Steven Seibert, excuse me on that, got contact on Gunnar White near the sideline, but no flag thrown. As you mentioned earlier, Francis, only 3 accepted penalties in the entire first half. No flag thrown there. 3rd and 5 for Christopher Newport to start the third quarter.
Captains have Dezerski as well as Powell and Barham split to the near side, and Colin Hart by himself over on the far side of the field. Shotgun snap, and Connor Berry's going to send the pass in the direction of Colin Hart. He can't haul it in as the defender was there, as that's Romero Lavallee on defense, the cornerback coming up to defend Colin Hart. It's going to be 4th down after the incomplete pass. 4th and 5 for the Captains, and the punt team will come out.
Yeah, Lavallee, only a sophomore, and in that game in late September, it was considered a very young defensive backfield for Susquehanna, and they probably grew up quite a bit in that game and the rest of their landmark conference season. They are looking much more stingy here in this game, creating all sorts of problems for CNU's offense.
On to punt for the Captains is Max Lawton, and he delivers a line drive punt. Takes a nice bounce, fielded at the 26-yard line, and the return, the Captains down the field quickly to make the stop at the 35. And on the run back For Susquehanna, it's Connor Daly, and Daly gets about a 9-yard return on that punt. And the Riverhawks offense will come onto the field for the first time here in the second half.
Not the start that Christopher Newport wanted to start the third quarter. He wanted to get that drive downfield and come away with some points. They go 3 and out instead, and now Susquehanna with a 21-7 lead, looking to keep it going.
Drawny is in motion as he heads to the far side. And on first down, Lamons gets the handoff. Lamons running off the left side of the line. He breaks into the open 45, up to midfield and out of bounds in captain's territory. First down run for Rashawn Lamons. His first carry of the second half will easily pick up a first down as, again, he reels off good yardage to the captain's 44-yard line.
Lamons with 33 yards on 10 carries in the first half. Breaks off a big one there. It looked like he was going to be stopped near the line of scrimmage, but the captain's defense not able to wrap him up, slow him down. One play, Susquehanna into Christopher Newport territory at the 45.
Ehrlich has Robbins in motion, and Ehrlich is going to the air to the near side, and the receiver got turned around a bit, and there was some contact, but the catch is made. Nicely done as John Kredensky makes the grab. He got him started in the first half, and Kredensky has a big catch early here in the second half.
Kredensky having a career game. That is going to be his 5th reception and take him over 100 yards receiving already in this game. And that time it looked like he made some contact with Gary Lane, pushing him out of the way, but no flag thrown. First down, Riverhawks.
At the 29-yard line now of CNU. Play action fake, and Ehrlich rolls to his right, tucks it away, 25-yard line, and down at about the 23-yard line as he's spilled out of bounds on the near sideline, right in front of the Christopher Newport bench. And it's going to be a pretty good run there.
And one of the officials having a talking to with Sean Sanders on CNU's sideline, making contact with Ehrlich on the sideline. The official saying, pretty much providing a warning there. It was a gain of 5 by Ehrlich, 2nd and 5.
Ball at the 24-yard line now of the captains as the Riverhawks look to add to a 2-touchdown lead early in this third quarter. Shotgun snap. And Ehrlich surveys the field, rolls to his left, and floats that pass complete. Robbins got away from the defender. He's inside the 15, and he's knocked down at about the 12-yard line. First down for Susquehanna, as Robbins, who had a touchdown reception last week and has 3 scores on the year, has a big first down reception here.
I tell you, Ehrlich's pass is not terribly accurate, but his receivers are making the grabs. You saw Kredensky go down to his knees earlier to make the grab. That time, the tight end grabs one behind the back a little bit, picks up the first down. Susquehanna making plays.
Ball at the captain's 12-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Riverhawks. Shotgun snap. Fakes the handoff. Ehrlich keeps it himself, spins and twists his way forward down to the 10-yard line. Ehrlich twisting and turning on that run. The junior from Annapolis, Maryland, getting positive yardage as he picks up a couple of yards. It'll be 2nd down and 8. First possession here of the second half for the Riverhawks.
Captains brought a blitz again, and again not able to bring Ehrlich down in the backfield, proving very, very elusive.
From the 10-yard line, Ehrlich. He's got Matt Sertz with him in the backfield to his left, and Sertz is going to get the call, and up the middle he barrels inside the 5 and down to about the 4-yard line of the captains. He's short of the first down marker. It's going to be 3rd down and about 2, but again the ball now at the captain's 4-yard line.
They are able to pick up a first down without getting it into the end zone. It is 3rd down. They are 2 of 6 on 3rd down conversions, their last 6 attempts.
Yeah, 3rd and 2 at the 4-yard line of the captains. Sertz is in the backfield, very deep behind Ehrlich. Ehrlich gets the snap, keeps it himself, runs right, dives forward. He's going to have the first down. It's going to be 1st and goal now for the Riverhawks at the captain's 1-yard line.
Looked like maybe an option play there, but Ehrlich found a hole over right guard.
And they want to go fast here. Ehrlich over center. Ehrlich off the right side of the line, stretches out over the goal line. He's in for the touchdown. A 1-yard plunge from the quarterback, Josh Ehrlich, as he stretched out and crossed the goal line. And Susquehanna adds to the lead. It's now a 27-7 score.
Well, that's a nightmare scenario for Christopher Newport, Francis. They got the ball to open the quarter, go 3 and out, and Susquehanna drives right down like a hot knife through butter and put up a 3-score lead.
Bourgeois ready for the extra point. Trying to make this a full 3-score lead, and the kick is good. It's a 28-7 lead now for Susquehanna, and flags flying after that extra point. Some extracurricular activity.
I think it was Maddox Lee with a big shove to one of the kicking team members of Susquehanna. There was shoving back afterwards, some retaliation, but and the Susquehanna sideline very fired up. Cooler heads need to prevail here, and there's definitely a penalty against Christopher Newport.
Well, the extra point again was good. It's 28-7. Susquehanna on top of the Captains. And as you said, Tracy, a nightmare scenario for the home team here as you cut back to the end of the first half as the Captains are huddled up here on the sideline. End of the first half, the Captains had the ball and were hoping to not only possibly get a score, but also start the second half with an opportunity to possibly tie up this game. And here they're in a situation now, they're down 28-7.
So it looks like there is an unsportsmanlike penalty called against Christopher Newport, and I believe Christopher Newport alone. So it will be marked off on the kickoff, so I expect Susquehanna to be kicking off from the 50-yard line. But Coach Paul Crowley called the entire sideline together after that penalty, trying to rally the troops here, saying there's a lot of football to be played, I'm sure.
Well, the mark-off on the penalty, again, will come here before they're going to spot the ball at the 50, so they will kick off from the 50, as you said, Tracy, and Captains down by 3 touchdowns, trying to get something going against this very stingy Susquehanna defense. They've been terrific today.
You can do things a little tricky here from the 50-yard line, too. Even if you do a little bit of a pop-up kick and try to recover it yourself, all it has to do is go past the CNU 40-yard line, and Susquehanna would have a chance at it. Or with a 21-point lead, do the Riverhawks just kick it through the end zone?
Dominic Bourgeois ready to go to work as he will kick off for the Riverhawks. Bourgeois with his approach, and here is the kickoff. And he does send a very high short kick fielded at the 24-yard line. The Captains making the catch, Jason Viernes on special teams. And so the short kick does not result in any problem for the Captains. So Christopher Newport down by 3 touchdowns now. The Captains have the ball back.
Well, if that first drive of the third quarter wasn't important to do something to put some points on the board, after that Susquehanna score, it becomes imperative for Christopher Newport to get something going here.
Shotgun snap and a handoff coming to the near sideline, and down the near sideline and out of bounds is Xavier Kennedy with a nice burst of speed, and Kennedy will have a first down for the Captains at the CNU 46-yard line.
Kennedy has easily been the most effective running back for the Captains. Gunnar White just hasn't gotten the space. That time he found a hole over the left side, did Kennedy, and just stepped out of bounds at the 46-yard line, or he might have been gone.
So we'll see if the senior Xavier Kennedy can ignite the Captains' offense after that big play. Kennedy remains in the backfield and gets the handoff again. Kennedy running left, and he's got another nice run as he picks up another 10 yards inside the 45 and down to the 44-yard line of Susquehanna.
And that will do a lot of good things to help out the passing game as well. If Susquehanna has to start worrying about the run attack that hasn't really been there for Christopher Newport in this game, but 2 runs, 2 first downs on this drive for the Captains into Susquehanna territory at the 44.
Captains have wides on both sides of the field. Two tight end alignment here as the handoff goes to Kennedy. And it's all Xavier Kennedy now, the senior running left, and he peels off another nice gain as he gets 6, maybe 7 yards on this carry inside the 40-yard line. And they're going to spot the ball at the Susquehanna 38. So it's Kennedy taking over. Xavier Kennedy is a senior out of Ashburn, Virginia. Not a big back, 5'9", 185 pounds. Very similar to Gunnar White in terms of size.
And he's been following Andrew Belford and also number 79, Ethan Gonzalez-Bonilla on the left side of the offensive line.
Now they go to the I formation, and Gunnar White is back in there. And White, the deep man in the I, works his way ahead. He gets away from a defender, stays on his feet. Gunnar White with a big run for the Captains inside the 20-yard line. And the Captains are in the red zone after some terrific runs on this drive by Xavier Kennedy and now Gunnar White.
Well, it certainly has ignited the fan base here for Christopher Newport here at Town Bank Stadium. These runs gotten a jolt of electricity as the Captains are in the red zone at the 18-yard line, 1st and 10.
We're midway through the third quarter, 7:20 to go in this third quarter. CNU down 28-7. Powell in motion. They keep it on the ground. Gunnar White running left. White tripped up at the ankles as he falls forward to the 15-yard line. Gain on the play of about 4 yards for Gunnar White. Again, one of the top rushers in CNU football history. He has had an outstanding 4-year career with the Captains. Again, 50 touchdown. Just to score 50 times in 4 years.
Yes.
It's staggering. He's averaged more than a touchdown a game. And Gunnar White not only has run for 50, 40 have been on rushes, but also has 10 touchdown receptions. Captains have 2 tight ends, both on the right side of the line, and it's a pitch play on the end around, and Josh Powell's going to be hit and driven down at the 20-yard line. The Susquehanna defense comes up big again.
Loss of about 5 yards. Those end arounds have worked well for the receivers, but Susquehanna's defense makes an adjustment.
Jesse Roosh comes up and makes the big stop there, as Roosh is the top tackler for this team, and he put the stick on Josh Powell there to set up a 3rd and 12 situation.
And technically that's a pass play as Connor Berry kind of tosses that one up in the air forward, so Powell picks that one up. It ends up going for a -5 yard pass play. Captains have been able to run the ball well, but that first pass play, negative yards, 3rd and 11.
Colin Hart split to the far side as Gunnar White looks over there, completes the pass to Hart. Hart's got some running room, 10-5. He'll take it in for the touchdown. Colin Hart makes the grab and takes it. Had a lot of green space ahead of him after he made that catch. And the Captains cut into the lead. It's now a 28-13 score.
Great adjustment by the offense. It was a jailbreak by the Susquehanna defensive line. They got in the face of Berry, but he calmly delivers that pass a little bit high to his favorite receiver, Colin Hart, and takes it in for the touchdown. Much needed score for Christopher Newport.
There's Jonathan Gates on for the extra point attempt. Connor Berry, the holder. The kick is on the way, and the kick is good. And it's 28-14, Susquehanna with the lead. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. Well, the kickoff comes down to the near sideline. And Susquehanna coming over to make the catch and really should have let that one go.
Yep.
And that ball is going to be spotted deep in Susquehanna territory.
Aaron Angelo gets it over the shoulder. It looked like Max Lawton had pulled that one left. Looked like it was going to fly out of bounds. Angelo catches it, loses track of where he is on the field, and steps out of bounds at the Susquehanna 7-yard line where they will take over.
Certainly can feel a shift of momentum here at Town Bank Stadium. Captains now trailing Susquehanna 28-14. Rashawn Lamons gets the handoff running left, and Lamons barrels his way out across the 10-yard line to the 12 as he takes a big hit. And he's dropped there, but not before he picks up 5 yards. Rashawn Lamons, the sophomore back out of Smyrna, Delaware, getting the call on first down. And of course, for Tom Perkovich and the Susquehanna squad, they're looking to sustain a drive now and keep running the football against this CNU defense. Their lead is now 2 touchdowns, and Ehrlich rolls to his right, and he's going to send the pass to the near sideline and just throws that one away, incomplete. I'm surprised they went to the passing play there after Lamons got 5 on first down. They go to the air, and very dangerous play there. Ends up going as an incomplete pass, and now it's going to be 3rd down and 5.
Nico Orlando in pursuit of Ehrlich again, proving very elusive. They haven't been able to bring him down. The captains have not been able to bring him down for a sack. Now a 3rd down and a long 5. We'll call it 6 for the Susquehanna offense deep in their own side of the field.
Riverhawks get set. Ehrlich in shotgun formation, gets the snap. Looking far side, the rush is on. He sends the pass to Lamons, and Lamons makes the grab and angles his way out of bounds, but not before picking up the first down, and that quiets the crowd here at Town Bank Stadium. And that rush was on by the captains, but Ehrlich was able to get it away in time and pick up the first down yardage on the pass.
It was the perfect call for that kind of defense. I'm a little bit surprised the captains brought pressure like that, given their success rate that hasn't been great when bringing pressure.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line. Ehrlich lofts this pass, open man, and it's caught at midfield. A diving grab made by Hunter Morganroth, and Morganroth is in captain's territory with another Riverhawks first down.
Again, a Susquehanna receiver deep downfield, wide open, so open he was able to spin around what seemed to be 2 times. It wasn't a great accurate pass by Ehrlich, but he put it up in the air far enough to where Morganroth could adjust to it and pick it up. Now into CNU territory at the 45. Captain's defense needs to make a play.
28-14, Susquehanna with the 2-touchdown edge. And the Riverhawks driving. Screen to the far side, complete. Morganroth is tied up and thrown down at the line of scrimmage. Tahir Johnson, the junior strong safety out of Petersburg, Virginia, coming up making that tackle.
And he's coming off the field limping, Francis, Tahir Johnson, after making that tackle. He shedded that block very well, and now he'll need some training attention on the CNU sideline.
2nd down and 10 for Susquehanna. Again, a sunny and chilly day here today at Town Bank Stadium. This has been a good battle. Captains were down at the half 21-7. They're down now 28-14. Pass goes to the far side. It's caught, and stepping out of bounds, Rashawn Lamons, after picking up positive yardage on that screen pass to the far side. It's going to be ruled out of bounds at the captain's 41-yard line, so a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Yeah, they'll give him to the 41. A good angle taken by Noah Martin on that screen. Good coverage downfield, and Ehrlich just dumps it off. But another 3rd down for Susquehanna, and they've been very good all season.
3rd down and 7. They're going to flood the near side. They've got 3 wides. Motion man coming this way as well, and Ehrlich takes off. The quarterback's going to have the first down, and Ehrlich is hit hard as he's pushed out of bounds by Noah Martin. And Ehrlich paid the price that time. He jumps up and runs back to the huddle, but a big first down run by the redshirt junior quarterback, Josh Ehrlich.
Just wide open up the middle. The offensive line opens it up for him. It was a quarterback draw all the way on 3rd and long, and another 3rd down conversion for this Riverhawks offense to the 28-yard line of CNU.
Lamons to the right of Ehrlich in the backfield. 3 wides on the near side. Now Robbins goes in motion. Handoff to Lamons going right up the middle. And Lamons is inside the 25 and down to about the 20. Well, they're going to give him the 25-yard line. So a gain on the play of about 3 yards for Lamons.
Yeah, knee must have come down early because, yeah, where everything stopped was a few yards forward from that. So only about a 3-yard gain, 2nd and 7 for Susquehanna. They're looking at keeping this clock going. Only a minute 24 remaining here in the third quarter. Susquehanna with a 28-14 lead.
Robbins sets up on the right side of the line, the tight end. Wides both ways, and Ehrlich is going to have a delayed handoff here, a draw play going to Lamons, and Lamons, captains reacted pretty well to that, but Lamons is down to about the 21-yard line. He's a couple of yards shy of the first down marker, about a 3-yard.
Looks like we have an injured CNU player, very slow to get up after that one. Maybe Devin Norman, I think it is.
Yeah, Devin Norman, the defensive end, coming off the field. Ball is spotted at the 21-yard line. Norman appears to be all right as he's running off under his own power. 3rd down and 3 coming up. Another 3rd down play for the Riverhawks.
Certainly well within Dominic Bourgeois' range for kicking if Susquehanna is not able to pick this up, but they've been so good on 3rd down, 8 of 12 in this game.
3rd and 3 at the captain's 21-yard line. Lamont sets up as he splits to the near side. Ehrlich by himself in the backfield. And the rush is on. Ehrlich sends the pass over the middle. The pass is caught. First down inside the 10-yard line to about the 8 as Rob Stolfa makes the grab, the junior from Shrewsbury, New Jersey, with a big 3rd down reception for the Riverhawks.
Noah Martin was in position, but as he started to make a jump forward to pick that one off, his feet go out from underneath him. He falls to the turf, and the reception is made by Stolfa inside the 10, and that's the end of the 3rd quarter.
And after 3 quarters of play, Susquehanna leads 28-14 over Christopher Newport. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. Well, we're ready to start the 4th quarter of play here at Town Bank Stadium in Newport News, Virginia. Francis Tomasino alongside Tracy Cooper, Harvey King, and Jacob Halloway. Our engineers bringing you the action here today, and our fine staff here at Town Bank Stadium. Through 3 quarters, a 28-14 score. Both teams with 1 touchdown in that 3rd quarter. Ehrlich with a 1-yard run for Susquehanna. Connor Berry with a 20-yard touchdown pass to Colin Hart for the captains. As we begin the 4th quarter, Susquehanna trying to make this a 3-score game as the handoff goes to Rashawn Lamons. Lamons down to the 5-yard line as he is spun around and taken down at the 5, just inside the 5-yard line. And it will be 2nd down now, 2nd and goal for the Riverhawks. Lamons today has been very busy. That was his 15th carry of the afternoon. And he is getting close to the 70-yard mark on the day, averaging 4.6 yards per carry today for Susquehanna. Ehrlich rolls right, wide open man. The pass is caught by Daniel Growney, and Growney is in for the score, and Susquehanna makes this a 34-14 ball game.
Very early in the 4th quarter, but my goodness, a 3-score lead now for Susquehanna might be a little bit much for the captains to make up.
Daniel Growney, the Rookie of the Year in the Landmark Conference this year. A touchdown pass from Ehrlich in the early going of this fourth quarter to make it 34-14. Bourgeois on now for the extra point. The spot is good, kick is on the way, and the kick is good. It's now 35-14. Susquehanna has done two things today. Tracy, they've certainly early in the ball game they created turnovers and they capitalized on that, and now here in this second half they've run the ball well. They've done. The captains haven't experienced this all year, and you can just tell that the toll captains are paying the price right now as this Susquehanna team has run the ball well with, of course, Rashawn Lamons, and Ehrlich has had a big day leading this offense.
Well, and I think the message from Coach Perkovich for the Susquehanna team is this CNU defense, they give up points. But it's their offense. If you can slow down that offense at all, you've certainly got a very good chance against this Christopher Newport team, and that's what they did certainly in the first half. They got to Connor Berry for 4 sacks and 2 interceptions, and now it has been ball control. That drive, if you remember, Francis, started all the way back at the 7-yard line on a mistake on special teams for Susquehanna, and they cover up for it with a great 93-yard drive.
Growney from Ehrlich for the touchdown, and here's the run up by Bourgeois, the kick on the way, and the kick will be fielded by Josh Powell at the 4-yard line. Powell, middle of the field, running across the 20 and gets out close to the 25-yard line. That's where the captain's offense will take over. CNU again on the year averaging 46.8 points per game. Their lowest point total of the year came in the final week. 2 weeks ago at TCNJ, they won 27-7. They started the year with a 38-7 win over Trine, but then they put up 40 or more in every other week this year. And here today they've been held to just 14 points. A lot of time left, 14 minutes and change left here in the fourth quarter, but the captains need to hurry now, down by 3 scores. Gunnar White going back to work. White breaks off from a tackle and is all the way up to midfield. Another nice run for Gunnar White, the senior from Virginia Beach, and an injured player for Susquehanna.
Yeah, it looks like Kayvon Waters.
Waters had an interception in the first half. And Waters is down right now for the Riverhawks and being attended to by the athletic training staff.
Yeah, it looks like a right leg injury there as both teams head to the sideline. Ball spotted at the 50-yard line. Captains have been doing some good things with the run game, and but when you're down this many scores, that runs the clock a little bit too much. They will have to throw the ball, I think, to have any chance of coming back in this one.
Waters with 3 tackles in this game and an interception. A couple of his teammates coming out to help him get off the field now. Apparently a leg injury, I believe, as they continue to look at Kayvon Waters, a sophomore from Manassas, Virginia. Again, our score 35-14. Susquehanna with the lead over Christopher Newport. Our score at halftime was 21-7. Susquehanna had the lead. Both teams with a touchdown in the third quarter, and now the Riverhawks have scored here in the fourth quarter to push the lead to 21. Waters, again, the strong safety for this Susquehanna team, being attended to. His interception earlier today was his 4th of the year.
Well, as they tend to, Waters there on the sideline, Francis, looking at the scoreboard also in the fourth quarter. Eastern with a 28-17 lead over host Franklin and Marshall. That one a minute, not even a minute into the fourth quarter. Endicott still trailing Salisbury in Maryland 28-21. Endicott coming from behind a little bit in that one at the end of the third quarter. And in Baltimore, Springfield has just scored, but with only 6.5 remaining, Johns Hopkins has a 27-14 lead in the fourth quarter of that one.
Waters being helped off the field, and again, a leg injury Lower leg injury, it appears, as his head coach, Tom Perkovich, meets him as he heads to the sideline.
Putting some weight on it. He's walking off very, very slowly, so hopefully not too severe of an injury for Waters. 1st and 10 captains at midfield.
That injury came on a big run by Gunnar White. White out of the game right now as Connor Berry fakes the handoff to Xavier Kennedy, and Connor Berry is thrown down for another sack. And again, it's number 0, Galen Leemantour, his 3rd sack of this game, and Leemantour had 9 coming into this one.
There's another injured player in the secondary for Susquehanna. This time it's going to be Romero Lavallee Jr. He's all the way back at the 14-yard line.
Well, the Christopher Newport athletic training staff has come out to take a look at Lavallee. Obviously, the athletic trainers from Susquehanna were tending to Kayvon Waters. And so the athletic training staffs working with each other here to take care of things, and stretching him out a little bit. Maybe a cramping situation.
Yeah, that would be ideal if that's all that is for Lavallee. But how good has the Susquehanna defense been today, Francis? They have sacked Connor Berry 5 times, intercepted him twice, and Connor Berry only has 7 completions all game in a game that the captains have trailed all game, essentially. You would think that Connor Berry would have to throw the ball a lot more. He's only attempted 19 passes and only completed 7. So 7 completions, sacked 5 times, and thrown 2 interceptions, including the sack there that went for a loss of 8 yards. Captains will now have a 2nd down and 18.
Captains have 2 wides split to the far side of the field, and we've got Barham in the slot. There's the snap. Connor Berry sends the pass over the middle, and it's Barham who makes the grab, bounces off tackle, and Barham has the 1st down at the Susquehanna 38-yard line. That was like a pinball. Barham bouncing off a defender, staying on his feet, and he picks up enough for a captain's 1st down.
Sure-handed Barham. That was a big hit after he made that catch, and it picks up 20. They needed 18 on that 2nd and 18. Keeps this drive going at the Susquehanna 38, but you got to believe down 3 scores. Captains are huddling up. I know there's 12:50 remaining, but I think you got to start thinking about getting to the line of scrimmage much quicker.
Berry from shotgun gets the snap, 3-step drop, lets it fly far side. Pass is caught and out of bounds. Josh Powell at the Susquehanna 30-yard line. That pickup will be about 7 yards on this pass play.
And on that play, Eric Spears, he was the man on coverage on Powell. His helmet came off near the sideline. He tried to slyly get that back on before the official saw him, but the official did see him. He'll have to come out for a play, but not before Josh Powell makes a reception for 7 yards, creating a 2nd down and 3 at the Susquehanna 31.
Captains come to the line of scrimmage. Colin Hart splits to the near side. Powell and Barham over on the far side of the field. Powell now in motion. So he heads behind the quarterback, and handoff goes to Xavier Kennedy. Kennedy running left side. Got tripped up a little bit, but stays on his feet to get the 1st down and stumbles his way down inside the 20 to the 19-yard line.
Xavier Kennedy now with over 70 yards rushing. The senior really stepping up. That's only his 6th carry of the game, averaging more than 10 yards a carry, and he gets the captains into the red zone.
Yeah, the ball at the 19. 1st and 10, Christopher Newport. Captains trailing here, 35-14 to Susquehanna.
Dzersky under quarterback, under center.
In motion, Colin Hart. He gets the handoff on the end around. Colin Hart, 15, stays on his feet and dives forward down to the 10-yard line. So an end-around handoff going from Matt Dzersky to Colin Hart. The captains on the play get down to the 10, about a yard shy of the marker. So it's going to be A 2nd and 1 situation for Christopher Newport.
Yeah, they're going to spot it just outside the 10 at about 10.5 yard line. So a long 1 yard to go here on 2nd down. Captains need to put this into the end zone and really need to make a stop on defense.
Viernes in motion. Handoff going to Gunnar White. White first down and near the goal line, taken down at about the 2. And the Captains are going to have a 1st and goal now as they roll Gunnar White down inside the 3-yard line. Captains knocking on the door, but again, down by 3 scores and the clock rolling at 10:15 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Surprised to see Gunnar White come out of the game on this 1st and goal play at the 1.
Captains break the huddle. They've got Powell split to the near side with Dzerzski. Hart split to the far side. Now Powell goes in motion. Quarterback keeper Connor Berry's going to take it into the end zone for the touchdown. And Connor Berry has his 2nd touchdown run of the game, and the Captains cut the lead to 35-20.
Good drive by the Captains, but it did take about 3.5, 4 minutes off the clock. Time is not the Captain's friend in this game, but it is now back to a 2-score game with this extra point coming from Jonathan Gates.
Trying to make it 35-21 is Jonathan Gates, the freshman. Gates out of Chesterfield, Virginia. Connor Berry, the holder. There's the snap, ball put down, kick is on the way, and the kick is good. It's 35-21, Susquehanna, and we'll be back in a moment. This is the NCAA Division III Football Championship. Well, the Captains go for an onside kick very early here, and it's recovered by Susquehanna at midfield. And down by 2 scores, the Riverhawks recover that onside kick, Tracy, and they've got great field position. They're going to start right at the 50-yard line.
Yeah, it was James Benedetto making that kick instead of Max Lawton, and Susquehanna recovers it at midfield.
Lamont's in some trouble trying to bounce off tackle, but he's taken down for a loss of about a yard back at the 49-yard line of the Riverhawks. Today's attendance, 1,855 here at Town Bank Stadium. Again on a sunny and chilly day, just 2 days after Thanksgiving, and Captains trying to come from behind here at home as they did in the first game with Susquehanna. They were down 21-10 early in that game. Ended up winning 41-27. Here a much different scenario. 2nd down and 11. Ehrlich's pass to the far side is caught. Going down to make the grab is Matt Sturtz. Sturtz is taken down at the 44-yard line.
A little bit surprised they passed it there, Francis.
Yeah, it's going to set up a 3rd down and 4 play now for the visitors. Susquehanna out of Selinsgrove, Pennsylvania. Champions of the Landmark Conference. They've dominated that conference, Tracy.
Undefeated in 3 years.
Yeah, they haven't lost a conference game. Again, I mentioned their last 58 games. Susquehanna is 50-8 over the last 58 games.
And 2 of those losses came this season.
That's right. 1 to Johns Hopkins and 1 here to the Captains. Rollout by Ehrlich. Ehrlich keeping it himself and putting the ball forward inside the 40-yard line to the captain's 38-yard line, and he is going to have enough for a first down for Susquehanna.
Really no trouble there, just a quarterback sweep to the right. The Captains have Maddox Lee spying on him, but a good block on him is able to spring Ehrlich for the first down, and he gets out of bounds at the CNU 38, but going out of bounds this early in the fourth keeps the clock rolling, 8:08 and ticking.
35-21, Susquehanna with the lead at the 38-yard line. Growney is in motion. The handoff goes to Sturtz. Sturtz running right now, cuts it back inside the 35 down to the 33-yard line.
Yeah, it's really gut check time for this Captains defense. They cannot allow another first down by this Susquehanna team and get them into field goal range. They need to keep this a 2-score game if they want a chance of coming back.
Well, the Riverhawks, as we're midway through the fourth quarter now, Riverhawks still huddled up. Second down play coming up, second down and 4.
Yeah, you want to get this play clock as far down as you can before snapping the ball for Susquehanna.
Ehrlich gets the shotgun snap, goes with the handoff to Matt Sturtz, and Sturtz is moving forward, and it's just shy of the first down marker. He's inside the 30, but
yeah, that's ideal though for Susquehanna. Though I mean, not that you don't want to pick up the first down, but if you got to have a third down in one situation, the way you are running this ball against the Captains defense.
Here we go, 3rd and 1, as Sturtz remains in the backfield. Ehrlich, with a long count, gets the snap, runs left, and Ehrlich's going to pick it up, and Ehrlich slides at the 20-yard line. He's going to have a 1st and 10 for the Riverhawks.
Yeah, way too easy. It's not like the defense doesn't know that Ehrlich can run the football, and no one touches him. He picks up about 6 yards on that play, and now Susquehanna in business. They can run as much clock as they want, even if they don't pick up a first down here, well within Bourgeois' range for a field goal to make it a 3-score game.
Riverhawks on top right now, 35-21. Both teams with a touchdown here in this fourth quarter. And Ehrlich directing the Riverhawks offense as he hands off to Lamons. Lamons running right, cuts it over the middle and is inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line.
Lamons gets up after delivering some punishment at the end of that run, fires up the Susquehanna crowd and sideline. It's a gain of about 4, but keeps that clock going. 2nd and 4 for the Riverhawks with a 35-21 lead. We're now at 5:22 remaining in the fourth quarter.
Captains with an unblemished record this year at 10-0, ranked number 6 in the country. Susquehanna coming in 9-2 and ranked number 22. Shotgun snap. They go back to Sturtz. Sturtz running right. And Sturtz is down close to the 15-yard line with another good run as he picks up 5, maybe 6 yards. Sturtz, big back, 6'1", 215 pounds, a junior out of Robbinsville, New Jersey. And Sturtz is going to set up a 3rd and 3 situation. The clock is down to 4:42 and running. 3rd down and 3 here for the Riverhawks. Ehrlich clapping his hands and no snap. Now he looks over to the sideline. Sturtz is going to readjust and move to the left side of his quarterback. Running as much clock as possible. Now Ehrlich pitches it to Sturtz. Sturtz running to the near side, turns the corner, barrels into the defender and dives forward. He stayed in bounds on the near sideline. The clock runs, and it's another first down for the Riverhawks as we're coming down to the 4-minute mark here in the fourth quarter.
Captains had a man on Sturtz. I think it might have been Maddox Lee, and Sturtz breaks the tackle and gets that big first down. It's now 1st and goal for the Riverhawks, just running this clock dry, and there doesn't seem anything that the Captains' defense can do about it.
Well, Ehrlich is ready as he continues to watch that play clock. Run as much time off as he can as he goes to Lamons on 1st and goal, and Lamons runs for a gain of 2, maybe 3 yards, down close to the 6-yard line. Again, the Captains' defense certainly shorthanded without their big defensive end, and Connor Estrella not able to go with the injury in the final week of the season. Also, Mossy Bruning, one of their top linebackers, playing today, Tracy, but with a big wrap on his hand due to a hand injury. We haven't called Mossy Bruning's name much today. But again, this Susquehanna offense they've been superb today. And here's Lamons getting the call, and he runs it down to the 5. Captains say it's a fumble. Captains say there's a fumble. Coming away with it was Jerry Cashwell.
I can't tell. I think I've seen one official pointing down to the ground.
Well, they're saying I believe he was down. Let's wait and see. Cashwell came away with the football.
Oh, and Ehrlich has his hands on his helmet. The officials might be saying turnover. I think they might be. I got to believe if this is marked.
There's 2:42 left. Yep, runner was down. It's going to be 3rd down for Susquehanna. That doesn't make the home fans happy.
And I don't know if we're going to have a video replay, even if there is a challenge on this. And it looks like Coach Crowley is going to call the timeout and ask for the challenge. I'm not sure that there's going to be video evidence that's going to be able to overturn this.
So we will have a video challenge of the call, whether or not that was a fumble or if indeed the runner was down by contact.
Yeah, it's hard. The distance that the video happens from, the angle that they're showing on replay is looking, it's hard to say. It looks like Lamons kind of dives forward, but it's very difficult to see the football from that distance.
Well, again, a crowd today just under 2,000 here at Town Bank Stadium, 1,855. And they've watched a game that saw Susquehanna get off to a great start as the Riverhawks took a lead just a minute and 50 seconds into this game, and they have not relinquished that lead. The Riverhawks were ahead at halftime by a score of 21-7, and they lead still by 14 points, 35-21. And looking for more right now if they keep the football. Is right now the review trying to determine if indeed there was a fumble on that last play by Rashawn Lamons.
Really has to be clear video proof that there was a fumble. And at this point, I don't think I've seen anything on any replay that shows the ball coming out early. And it didn't appear that the officials all talked about it before making the final call. I don't believe any of them saw the ball come out early, even though the ball may have at some point come out. But the fact that the call on the field is Susquehanna football, I think that'll be very hard to overturn. And they're showing it up on the video scoreboard now, and even the video that they're showing, you're obscured by players from both teams. See a bunch of CNU players jump up pointing in the direction that it's CNU ball, but you never actually see the football.
Yeah, again, it was Jerry Cashwell who came out of the pack with the football, but that certainly doesn't mean that it happened before Lamons was down.
And even if it did, you have to be able to show that on video replay for them to overturn it.
Yeah, you see a lot of scrums at the end of plays when a team is trying to get a football, and unless the officials are sure of it, right now there has to be indisputable evidence that the call was incorrect on the field. The call on the field was the runner was down. And it's 3rd down for Susquehanna. We'll see if the video changes that. Let's take a look at the scoreboard again. 16 games going on today in the Division III football championship.
Yep, and in the CNU bracket, Eastern, Franklin, and Marshall, the winner of that game plays the winner of this game. And Eastern holding on now to a 4-point lead in Lancaster, Pennsylvania against the host school Franklin and Marshall, 28-24 with 6:01 remaining in that one. In Salisbury, Maryland, it is a 7-point lead now for Salisbury, 35-28 with 8:12 remaining in the fourth quarter of that game. And in Baltimore, Maryland, it is now a final. Johns Hopkins advances, the number 2 seed in this bracket. They survive 34-14 over Springfield.
Johns Hopkins again and Christopher Newport, the 2 teams this year that defeated this Susquehanna team. And you know that first meeting, Tracy, when the teams played here back on September 27th, that was a week after Susquehanna had fallen to Johns Hopkins, and Captains were coming off a bye week. So a lot of things going into that game certainly went the Captains' way. And here today, you could say the opposite. The Captains had a bye week last week, and it was Susquehanna having to play last week, and certainly the Riverhawks haven't shown any problem today, bouncing back after that tough win last week, 38-32 over Washington and Jefferson. They've come in here and they've put together a tremendous effort both offensively and defensively.
Well, when you put 2 key teams together, and it's going to stay with Susquehanna. Not surprising. And it's not going to make the Captains fans happy at all, but, a bit of a muted complaint there from the Captains fans. But it will be third down. That will make it to where the Captains do lose a timeout. But 2:42 remaining, it'll be third down and goal from the 6-yard line for the Riverhawks.
Ehrlich has Lamons with him in the backfield as play resumes here after the video review. 2:42 to go, fourth quarter, with the Riverhawks up 35-21. They go right back to Lamons off the left side. Lamons is going to carry that one across the goal line and in for another Riverhawk touchdown. He had a defender on his back as he took it into the end zone. And Rashawn Lamons has his first score of the day, and that makes it 41-21 Susquehanna.
An exclamation point on this very good game plan for the Susquehanna Riverhawks today. That will give Lamons 87 yards rushing and a couple of touchdowns. His quarterback rushes for 3 touchdowns. The Captains' defense just not able to slow down the Riverhawks on this day.
Extra point is good by Bourgeois, and that makes it 42-21. Susquehanna has doubled up the Captains now. A 3-touchdown lead with 2.5 minutes to go here at Town Bank Stadium. And this is looking certainly like Susquehanna will be advancing to play the winner of that Eastern, Franklin, and Marshall game. And, of course, for the Captains, a 10-win season. And after a bye, falling in the second round of the NCAA Division III Football Championship.
Yep, getting a number 1 seed in this bracket. Yeah. The bye got them some rest, but it just wasn't enough. This Susquehanna team, 2 very good teams playing each other. Susquehanna knowing exactly what this road trip would be like, has played this team before, and the game plan that they had going after Connor Berry and not allowing him time to throw the football has paid off dividends in spades. The Riverhawks are going to come away with a victory here. Still 2:36 remaining, but a 21-point lead.
6 touchdowns today for the Riverhawks. Ehrlich with 3 touchdown runs. Now Lamons with a touchdown run. Here's the kickoff. Fielded back at the 5-yard line by Powell. Powell going up the middle. He's got a seam. He's up to the 40. Josh Powell takes off. He's at the 40 of Susquehanna. He's down to the 20. And he has one man to beat, and he eludes the defender and takes it all the way for the touchdown. Josh Powell with the kickoff return. And the Captains make it 42-27.
I guess it's not over yet, Francis. The Captains are likely going to go for an onside kick here, but my goodness, Josh Powell says, don't count us out yet.
Unofficially a 95-yard kickoff return as the Captains sophomore wide receiver out of Maury High School in Norfolk, runs it back to make it 42-27. Jonathan Gates is on for the extra point attempt, as Connor Berry is the holder. Here's the snap, the ball spotted, the kick is on the way, and the kick is good. That makes it 42-28. Josh Powell for the Captains, making this again a 2-score game.
Well, when these two teams meet, there's going to be a touchdown. There's going to be a kickoff return for a touchdown. Susquehanna had one back in September, and now Christopher Newport comes through with one in the late goings. 2:22 remaining. The Captains likely going for an onside kick here, down 2 scores.
This has been a high-scoring fourth quarter. Both teams now with 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. And it's 42-28 as the Captains get ready for what will be their second onside kick attempt of the day. The first one was attempted by Benedetto. This looks like it's going to be Lawton trying this onside kick attempt. Max Lawton getting ready. And there is the attempt, and it's a good one. It goes into the air on the far side, but it goes out of bounds.
Just too tall for Ethan Barham.
Yeah, the flag flies as the ball goes out of bounds. Barham couldn't catch up to it, but that was well done by Jonathan Gates.
Yep, it was Gates. I thought it was Lawton.
Or Lawton, excuse me. Lawton with the onside kick attempt.
Yeah, it made the 2 skips and a bounce up, and Ethan Barham, one of the taller players for Christopher Newport, just a little bit too tall for him to go up and get, and it looks like
the ruling is again the kick going out of bounds.
So it'll be a 5-yard penalty from where it went out of bounds at the 50. So Susquehanna will have the ball at the CNU 45-yard line. The Captains only have 2 timeouts remaining, but they also have the 2-minute timeout in 22 seconds. So if they can stop Susquehanna with a 3-and-out here, they could get the football back.
42-28 the score. Susquehanna leading by 14 as the Riverhawks have a 1st and 10 at the 45-yard line of the Captains. Shotgun snap to Ehrlich, who hands it off, and the Captains make a very quick tackle and will take a timeout to stop the clock after a loss on the play of about 2 yards.
And you got to wonder, the Captains made the ball come out, albeit probably after Le Mans was already down on that last drive. You got to believe they're going to be going after that football again, but they get a loss of 2 on that first play before the timeout. So only 6 seconds come off the clock, 2:16 remaining and 1 timeout for Christopher Newport.
That kickoff return, 96 yards. That's the longest kick return in Christopher Newport football history. The previous was Roland Hilliard back in 2006, and Trey Hayes at Rowan back in 2023 matched that at 95. But today's 96-yard return by Powell, the longest in CNU football history. Courtesy of Rob Silsby. Rob Silsby and Kenny Klein providing our statistical help here today, as always, here at Town Bank Stadium. And thanks, of course, to them. Thanks to Jacob Halloway and, of course, Harvey King as well, our engineers today. 2nd down and 12 as the handoff goes to Le Mans, and Le Mans gets the lost yardage back and barrels ahead, getting to the original line of scrimmage, and another timeout taken by the Captains. 2 minutes and 11 seconds to play as the Captains again stop the clock. And again, we'll have a stoppage coming up at the 2-minute mark.
So right now it's looking likely, if the Captains can make another stop here, that they will get the football back. Unless if Susquehanna does get the football, if they make some yardage here but still don't pick up a 1st down, if they pick up at least 5 yards here, they may consider going for it on 4th down. And that if Susquehanna picks up another 1st down, game is over.
No doubt about that, as it's a 2-touchdown game in the final minutes here at Town Bank Stadium. Tom Perkovich and the Riverhawks trying to advance to the round of 16 next weekend. And again, they'll play either Franklin and Marshall or Eastern if they do escape Town Bank Stadium here today with a victory. 3rd down and 10 situation after the CNU timeout. Shotgun snap, Ehrlich looking for an open man, dancing in the pocket, rolling to his right. Ehrlich still looking for an open man, and now he dives forward and is taken down at the 49-yard line.
And the Captains get their first sack of Ehrlich in the game.
And the clock goes down to 2 minutes. So we've got 2 minutes to go here. And it's going to be 4th and long for Susquehanna. And you would expect, Tracy, a punt here to try to pin the Captains deep, knowing that CNU is down by 2 touchdowns, a 14-point ball game here.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised to see him go for it here, 4th and long. They took the ball back into Susquehanna territory. And there's some jabbering going on, some CNU players talking over to the Susquehanna sideline, but the officials break that up. Yeah, I agree, Francis. I think Susquehanna punts this ball. Bourgeois is out. Looks like he is backing up lining up for a punt, but 2 minutes remaining. The Captains have the ability to score quickly, but even if they do, it will require another onside kick, and they'd have to recover it, which is very, very difficult. But there's still 2 minutes to go.
Bourgeois getting ready to punt as he stands at his own 35-yard line. Don't forget, Josh Powell just had a 96-yard kickoff return. Noah Martin is back deep to receive this punt, and Martin is going to let it bounce in front of him, and it takes a Captain's bounce to the 21-yard line. So it's a dead ball there. 1:49 to go. Captains have the ball down by 2 touchdowns, 42-28.
Captains get a little bit of a break there, the way that ball bounced backwards. Ball spotted at the 21, 79 yards away, 2 scores away, a score and an onside kick reception away. Let's see what the Captains can draw up.
Captains have Barham in the slot to the left and Xavier Kennedy in the game. Barham now goes in motion. Connor Berry on first down with a rush on, dumps the pass to the far side. It's caught by Kennedy, and Kennedy barrels forward, has a first down out to the 36-yard line. And the rush was on Connor Berry as he just got that one away in time. Clock down to 1:40 to go and running here as the Captains have a 1st and 10 at the 35. The clock briefly stopped as they reset the chain after the first down, and now Berry's going to send it to the far sideline, incomplete.
Tried to get it to Matt Dzersky, yep.
Yeah, the coverage, Romeo Lavallee back in the game, and it looked like Lavallee was back there on coverage.
Yeah, saw him crumple down with what we think might have been a cramp there, so good to see him returning for the Riverhawks. And again, Connor Berry under duress again, throwing that one as he's hit. Dzersky trying to come back for it, trying to get an interference call, but no flag thrown. And there haven't been many penalties at all. 2 penalties on Susquehanna. I believe that they had those 2 penalties in the first half, and only 3 called on Christopher Newport.
2nd and 10 for the Captains at their own 35-yard line. Connor Berry stepping up, got away from a defender. Now he's hit by a trio of defenders as he is dropped at the 38-yard line. Connor
and the
Berry.
Captains have no timeouts. You've got to throw that ball away. I don't think 2 yards is going to help you any.
Lehman Tour slow getting up here for Susquehanna.
Yeah, he got hit hard at the end there, and they're ticking time away.
Down to a minute to go now. It's a 3rd down situation too now. 3rd down and 7 for the Captains. Connor Berry gets the shotgun snap. The rush is on. He's flushed to the far side of the field. Berry looking for somebody. Sends it downfield, and it's intercepted. Was he in bounds? That's the question. The pass was caught.
I haven't seen, and it is Susquehanna football.
Yeah, it's Berkeley Wagner, the senior from Willow Street, Pennsylvania, making the interception. And that is the 3rd pick of the game.
And that is the ball game.
And the Riverhawks will be able to run out the clock here as 3 interceptions are thrown by Connor Berry. He threw 3 picks all season. And here he throws 3 today in this NCAA playoff game. And you can rest assured now that this Susquehanna team is going to be the advancing team. And the captain's season is going to end at 10-1. The Riverhawks are going to be 10-2 as Ehrlich is in victory formation. Captains can't stop the clock, and he will take the knee 2 more times, and Susquehanna can begin the celebration as they will get ready to advance to the round of 16 of this NCAA football championship. And that should do it. Another knee taken, and the teams come onto the field now as Susquehanna begins the celebration. And a tough day for Christopher Newport. Turnovers certainly plagued the captains today, but this Susquehanna defense was just fierce all day long, and their offense was terrific as well with 6 touchdowns today in a 42-28 final score. Susquehanna wins it over the captains.
Yeah, hard to say that a defense overshadowed an offense that scored 42 points, but that's exactly what happened. Susquehanna's defense was absolutely amazing, sacking Connor Berry 5 times, intercepting him 3 times, doubling his interception total in 10 games this year. Just a remarkable performance, a remarkable game plan. The pressure getting to the captain's offense, and they were just not able to recover. Certainly scoring 28 points in a playoff game, certainly something to be happy with, but not enough to come away, and the defense just could not slow down this very methodical, experienced playoff team in Susquehanna.
And Josh Ehrlich, the junior quarterback of the Riverhawks, had himself quite a day as he threw a couple of touchdown passes and he ran for 3 scores. Ehrlich with, again, 3 touchdown runs, and Lamons had a touchdown run as well for the captains. Connor Berry had a couple of touchdown runs, also connected with Colin Hart on a touchdown pass. And, of course, Powell had the 96-yard kickoff return, which, by the way, is the longest play in Christopher Newport history, that 96-yard kickoff return. But certainly not enough today to overcome this Susquehanna squad. Susquehanna with the win, now 10-2, and they will play next Saturday against the winner of the Eastern, Franklin, and Marshall game. And the captain's season comes to an end. A terrific 25th season of football at CNU comes to an end on a sour note as the captains end the year at 10-1.
And it will be against Eastern, which I'm not sure who the higher seeded team is in that one. I believe Eastern might be the higher seeded team, so Eastern may be hosting Susquehanna in the next round.
Eastern didn't play last week. Susquehanna did, so I would imagine.
Franklin and Marshall didn't play, or neither one of them did. That's right.
Played, yeah.
So you're right. You're right. It will be at Eastern.
Yep, Eastern will be hosting Susquehanna next week in the round of 16, while the captains again have their season come to an end and a 10-1 final record. And again, our final score here today, it's Susquehanna 42 and Christopher Newport 28, and certainly an entertaining game to say the least here in the NCAA Division III Football Championship.